Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live, but most importantly, if you would like to join the panel, simply mute the page you are currently listening to, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. In a moment, I'm going to transition across to the Hangout, as we do have some nice images of sunrises and sunsets for you to all enjoy. And while you're enjoying them, please share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to this channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
Nathan, you there?
I've been joined by our first guest. How you doing, Sleeping Warrior? Good to have you here.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just a bit of feedback for you.
Feedback on what?
Yesterday, I was speaking to a couple of different flat earthers. One of which you spoke to for about an hour after the hangout, and another one that I was speaking to on Skype. And both people were telling me that they're being sniped repeatedly. And they can't actually get on the show. So I think what's beginning to happen is we're missing the amount of flat earthers that are trying to get on the show, that are being sniped, that do actually want to stay on the show. And we're just thinking that they're leaving, but they're actually getting sniped and they can't come back. So I think it's probably worth saying, if you are a flat earther and you get sniped, either put the message in chat and direct it at Nathan so that Nathan sees it, hopefully, and then we know that you got sniped. Because we can get you back in through Skype if necessary. So it's just something to be aware that there was 2 yesterday that I spoke to. One was the one that you spoke to for an hour after the show, and the other one was somebody on Skype. I don't want to say both names because they might not want me to, but 2 flat earthers couldn't get on the show because they keep getting sniped.
Fair enough. If I know them, like I say, I'll just add them on Skype. We've been joined by P. Mars. How you doing, P? Good to have you here.
I'm good. Riley, have you ever considered this flat earth proof? Because, like, I just noticed, I was just thinking, our shoes are flat.
Yeah, I've considered, like, they're the
how come our shoes don't have a curve if the earth is curved? You know what I'm saying? Like,
them shoes exist. You need them shoes when you're going around Pontchartrain because that's how much curve you see at Pontchartrain.
Why don't, like, if the earth was a sphere, don't you think that our shoes would be curved too? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Only at Pontchartrain. That's where you can buy them shoes at Soundly's shop, because I believe Soundly's got a shop and he sells shoes like that. So if you want them shoes, but they only work in Pontchartrain.
Have you used this proof before on ballers?
No, obviously I've never been to, but Soundly's got a pair. Ask Soundly. He'll tell you.
Been joined by Lottie. How you doing, Lottie? Good to have you here.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Justice for Ranty.
Justice for Lottie, knucklehead. I do like my my description of you being the Knuckle Brothers, so very much my favorite thing. Yeah, the Knuckle Brothers.
Yeah, that's all right. If you're going to call me like names like that, you have to accept that a flamboyant dickhead would be there for yours back.
That's fine. You're not very good.
You do have a style. I'll give you that. You do have a style. I'll give you that much.
You have no style. You're not very good at this banter game, Riley, so I'm more than willing to play with you.
Have you seen the Pontchartrain shoes that PMAS is on screen right now? You can buy your very own Pontchartrain shoes.
No, I'll have a look at them.
Let's have a look. Let's see. I don't know whether
this is my flat Earth evidence. If you notice,
they don't soundly selling them on his channel.
Shoes. The soles of your shoes are flat. They're designed to work on a flat plane. So, like, why don't we have curved shoes if the Earth is a sphere?
You can buy them on a Pontchartrain t-shirt. Lottie, you can buy them on a Pontchartrain t-shirt just like that.
Yeah, I like them. Riley, where's Ranty? I'm getting pretty poor at the moment. I've just had a massive bill, so I'm just looking on trying to get my money.
I believe he's taking independent legal advice on how to recover a civil debt.
Well, hopefully not from you. Well, actually, from you. I hope he's getting it from you. I'm certain to win.
Justice for Ranty.
Right. So what's happening today? Is it the I Love Man show again?
No. I was going to ask you what was your evidence that you accept that we live on a ball. Oh, here's Rumpus. Oh, hang on. Is it?
How you doing, Rumpus?
No, I reckon that's
good to have you here.
Hello, Rumpus. Welcome.
Hello, Lottie. Come on, Rumpus. Where you at?
Riley, just a second. Let me tell Rumpus that all presentations must be at least 30 minutes long on this episode.
Oh, I can do that.
30 minutes long.
I'm going for a bath.
I can do that. I'm on the verge of having a complete presentation of the whole issue with all the data and things, but I haven't quite got that far yet. But hopefully within a day, I will have all the data and missing distances and things all sorted.
I feel the urge to remind you that you were just simply asked to X marks the spot for where the lighthouse should be. That was all.
Oh yeah, but but I'm doing the whole thing as well. I mean, I'm.
Are you a teacher?
No,
because you act very much like a teacher.
Well, it's very easy for you to think that, given that I'm teaching a lot, so I can understand why you think that. But I just simply,
considering he's teaching, then
I don't actually think that. I just, if I was to use an adjective to describe you, it would be more like a reverend or a priest preaching rather than a teacher teaching. But your approach on the presentations front is very much like a teacher.
Well, I have to be absolutely explicit with you because every single little problem that you encounter, you get the answer wrong. So I have to provide every little detail, every little step, every little micro step of logic and reason evidence I have to provide. So that might seem to you like being a teacher, because I can't rely on your own knowledge and reason and maths to get you over these tiny little problems. So I have to present you very clearly
evidence
how you do these things, and that obviously is going to seem like a teacher to you, because normally with if I talk to Paul, for instance, or epistemology, I could just leap over little problems and just assume they understand what's going on with just a phrase. Whereas with you, I have to explain every single mathematical reason.
No, you don't.
Logical step. I do.
If I ask you to point out where the point of a lighthouse should be, X marks the spot is fine.
That's okay. That's right. That's a simple question. Yes, to which I can give a simple answer. Yes.
That's all I want. I just want to know what you've, because
I can tell you if you like.
Yeah, sure. That's what
I've got a presentation on a moderately sized presentation on the accuracy, where I think you're standing in the two videos, and also the accuracy of Google Earth and the issues around that. And as well as this where the lighthouse is. So I don't know if people will be interested in that.
The only thing that really the exact position of where I might be standing is not that relevant. It really isn't, because I've already conceded that I'm somewhere in the middle for the second video.
Yeah, well, I've identified it nearly exactly where you are and your height.
I don't think it's important in the bigger scheme, in the bigger picture.
Oh, it's very important. Well, when I give the final details of, for instance, how much the light is the missing bits of the things we're looking at, exactly what's missing, what's there, what height they're at, and so therefore whether there's any discrepancy between the metabunk calculator and what we're looking at, it will be very important.
It won't, because it isn't going to change the evidence.
How can you say it won't be? If the Metabank calculator relies on your observer height and then says this so much will be missing, therefore this bit of a lighthouse should or should not be there, how can you say that's not important?
Because in the context of the bigger picture, Douglas, you need 1,000 feet of observer height.
Well, we're not looking at Douglas.
Everybody in Douglas tends to disagree with you.
No, well, no, they don't. All sensible people don't.
No, I can get them on the Hangout right now that live in Douglas and recognise their own city.
Yes, but that's irrelevant. We're looking at a picture of the Isle of Man. They're not looking at that. They're just looking around them in the house. They can't have an opinion because there's nothing distinguished. Well, I can identify the things in the picture, and they're not in Douglas.
Yeah, but the problem you've got is if you can identify them using maths, and we have people that live there that recognise their own city, that's like saying if you live in Nottingham.
Well, they're mistaken. They're looking at blurry images. They're mistaken.
It's more likely that they know what they're looking at.
No, it's not. It's not. They're absolutely wrong. If they think they can see Douglas, they're absolutely wrong and they're mistaken. Just because they live somewhere doesn't mean to say they can determine blurry images any better than anybody else.
Yes, but if you say, for example, you're from Nottingham, and let's just say you're Jeremy and you live Nottingham way, and then someone says that's Nottingham, and Jeremy says, yep, that's Nottingham, I would tend to believe that.
Yeah, but if I give them a blurry image of Nottingham,
but if somebody said
that they can't distinguish, and they're not used to looking at blurry images from
somebody
50
said
miles
to
away,
me,
they're not going to be equipped to do it.
If
but
somebody
they are.
asked me,
Sorry, I've just got to interject just 1 second. They travel across on the boat and get that exact perspective of it, Rumpus. The exact perspective we are looking at, they see from the boat.
These people are mistaken. I mean, whatever it is, they are mistaken. if they agree with you, I suspect the intellectual level of the people who are agreeing with you is not so good, but they are mistaken.
What, you mean honest?
No, they're mistaken.
No,
they might think
perhaps
you're
sorry, Rumpus. Just one more point then. Sorry, Rumpus. Just one more point. Just want to get you to either confirm or deny this. So Paul drew a line on Google Earth from the vantage point to Douglas. We absolutely, unequivocally, on Google Earth, had line of sight with Douglas. Do you deny or confirm that that's the case based on what he physically showed us on the model?
No, you can't see it. You cannot see Douglas on the in the picture.
Okay.
Snapped or something? Okay.
I didn't actually hear your answer.
So you didn't hear my answer? Oh, right, I replied. Yes. No, we can't. We cannot see Douglas on the picture of the composite picture, the new any of the composite pictures.
That's not what I asked. I'll just ask it one more time, Rumpus. So Paul demonstrated on a model called Google Earth. I'm sure you're familiar with it. He drew a line of sight from the vantage point to Douglas, and it was unobscured. He tried to... Oh, hold on. You haven't understood my question, so I'm rephrasing it for you. He categorically denied that it was Douglas, while me and lots of residents of the Isle of Man laughed and pointed out that it literally had line of sight on the model, not the image. No. This is what we're contesting. So I'm asking you on the Google Earth model, do you confirm or deny that we had line of sight with Douglas?
Well, I don't know what you're doing, but there is no line of sight from Anthony's viewpoint to Douglas that doesn't go through the curve of the Earth. You cannot see it.
I will try a third time. So, on the model called Google Earth, where Paul drew a line from the vantage point.
To it, but it's behind the curve.
I'm asking a specific question. I'm asking a specific question in relation to Google Earth, Rumpus. I would just like you to either confirm that on the model that Paul drew a line on from the vantage point to Douglas, are you confirming or denying that we had line of sight on that model?
Did on Google Earth. How am I supposed to know that?
I'm asking you specifically on the model.
Google Earth from the vantage point to Douglas. Yes, you can. You can just catch the left-hand side of Douglas on Google Earth, but that doesn't. But it does not appear on the picture.
Okay, so just to clarify, we on the model of Google Earth from the vantage point do have line of sight with Douglas. Thank you.
Well, yes, on Google Earth, but that's behind the curve. You might as well say you've got line of sight to Florida. But that you can't.
Well, we don't have a photograph of Florida, you pedantic idiot. We have a photograph of the Isle of Man.
Douglas either, you idiot.
Okay, so I will be clear that I'm asking specifically about a photograph that we have of the Isle of Man. Nothing to do with Florida. It is absolutely relevant, and we are testing the model called Google Earth. So when we check on Google Earth, if we have line of sight, that is what is relevant.
Well, we have line of sight of Florida as well, so it's relevant.
No, we don't. We don't have line of sight of Florida. We do have line of sight with Douglas. No, absolutely. which is the
Well,
question
we
I
have
asked.
to have line of sight.
Thank you, Rumpus, for confirming that on your model of Google Earth, we do have line of sight with Douglas. Thank you.
As we do with Florida, yes. So you might as well say Florida. It's exactly the same point as Florida. I think it's Florida.
We're not looking at a photograph of Florida. Again, you pedantic idiot. We are talking about the Isle of Man.
It's absolutely irrelevant.
And I will thank you a third time for confirming that on the model called Google Earth, we do have line of sight with Douglas. Thank you.
And we also have line of sight with Florida.
We don't actually. Technically, it's French Guiana on your map.
Oh, is it? Okay, French Guiana. We've got line of sight with French Guiana then.
So your crappy pedantic point wasn't even worth making and incorrect. Well done, Rumpus.
I'm just pointing out
total
how
fail on all regards again.
Absolutely
total
irrelevant.
fail again, yet again from Rumpus.
Your point is irrelevant. If you don't understand it's irrelevant, then you're an idiot.
Okay, so Rumpus, let me ask you: if we're not seeing Douglas on the evidence, can you show us what the evidence lines up with? Not what it lines up with, but what it matches with the land. Because
okay, unfortunately, I can't share. For some reason, I can't share. I can try sharing Google Earth on here. I can, but let me just see if I can show screen share because for some reason it disappears. But I can. Let's just try it anyway again.
While you're doing that, Rumpus, so are we now trying to basically discredit what Google Earth showed us as us having line of sight with? Is that what we're about to do?
No, he's going to try and show how it's not Google Earth.
I don't understand how you're having such difficulty here. Yes, you can draw a line from Australia to New York.
Let's stay on topic, Rumpus. Let's stay on the photograph that we're looking at. We have established.
That's exactly
it's
what
all right,
I want
Rumpus.
to do.
I'll let you tucker yourself out. It takes a while sometimes.
Can you see Google Earth here?
No, we see a white page.
White.
While you sort out your incompetence with your screen
okay.
sharing, I'll just clarify what's happening. You're about to tell us that it's not lining up with Douglas based on the evidence that you're about to present. So you are about to debunk the Google Earth model and what it shows us. Just to clarify for the audience what's about to happen.
There's a curve there. You can't see behind the curve on the photograph, obviously.
Yes, we can.
I mean,
yes, we absolutely can see behind the curve. That's why we're looking at Douglas. It should be approximately a quarter of a mile behind Earth curve and is not. That's why we are looking at it.
Douglas.
All right. I've got my thing on screen, Rumpus. Can you see my screen?
Oh, let me just get my... Right. Here's the photograph with the images on it. So I can show you... Right, so... sorry, sorry, Anthony. I was just... Here is the photograph that has been recomposed. And the left-hand side of it has been done quite well. I've checked it absolutely thoroughly. I've checked it perfectly. And it had 2 errors in it to about halfway along, of minor errors. But up to here, he's actually composed it properly. It goes a bit bonkers after that, but it's still just about accurate enough to do sensible things. Right, so here's the photograph. I don't know if you can see this. That is the left-hand hedge. That is not Douglas. Douglas, it's the mountains in front of Douglas. Douglas is sort of over here and behind that. Those mountains there are in front of Douglas.
So we can't see Douglas in the image. We can't see Douglas at all. Sorry, just to get this clear. We can't see Douglas at all in this image.
Correct.
So Google Earth is completely wrong.
No.
Yes, we've just established this.
I don't understand how Google Earth
says we have line of sight with Douglas. You're saying we don't have line of sight with Douglas in the actual evidence. Right. So Google Earth is wrong, correct?
Google Earth allows you to draw
Google Earth is wrong. Google Earth says we should see it.
Hold on, let me finish.
Google Earth is wrong. It says we should see it. We've just established that. You're saying it's not there.
If I get a map out and draw
Google Earth's wrong, correct?
From a plan, I can draw
Google Earth's wrong.
Google
Earth's wrong, isn't it? Google Earth's wrong, Rumpus. Google Earth's wrong, isn't it? So Google Earth shows us that we have line of sight and we don't, according to Rumpus. Thanks. This is really concise Google Earth debunking by Rumpus. Google Earth says we have line of sight with it, but we don't.
No, it doesn't. Google Earth says you can draw a line on a plan view from the vantage point to Douglas. Yes, it says you can do that. But it doesn't say you can see Douglas.
That's what it is. It's a sight line, you moron. It's a line of sight. It shows you what you can see.
The plan view, if you're looking at...
Okay, it's all right. We've already established firmly enough for the audience, Rumpus, that Google Earth says we can see it and you're saying we can't. Therefore, Google Earth is wrong. Thank you very much. Drops the mic.
I mean, this is incredible. I mean, you're using logic that a 13-year-old would see was idiotic. If you're looking at a map, you can draw a line between points on a map. And that's what you do in Google Earth. You can draw a line from the vantage point to Douglas, yes, but we're talking about what you can see allowing for the curve of the Earth, and you cannot see Douglas because it's behind the curve of the Earth. I mean, how's that difficult to understand? I'm amazed.
All right, listen. Let me speak with Rumpus for a minute. Rumpus, that red line that you've got that's going down on the diagonal that I call the tuft of trees. The red line, yeah. Can you put that one? Yeah, that red line. Yeah. Line. I call that the tuft of trees, and the guy that lives in Isle of Man says that that's Douglas Head. If I share my screen, because obviously you can't do the Google Earth.
I'm now looking at the Hangout screen.
Yeah. So let me pull that out the way. So this is what I call the tuft of trees at the top here, and this is where I call Douglas. And the guy in Isle of Man agrees that that is Douglas, and that is indeed Douglas Head, otherwise known as my tuft of trees. Let's apply what you say and say that this is somewhere else.
That's Balacanal. I can even identify.
Wait. Rumpus, wait. Listen to the question. If we go with whatever you say this is, I'm going to look for a reference that's similar to this in relation to the thing that you say that is. So if we go with Balacanal or whatever you want it to be, we're going to look for this in cross relation to it. So let you direct me to where you want me to go.
Okay, I'll find out what that bump is. Let me just. I'm using my little. I can show you the process I will use here. Can you see my my screen sharing here?
No, I want you to talk me through it on Google Earth because we can't.
Well, I can show you the bearing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to acquire a bearing to it. If you can see my screen, you can see how I'm going to do this exactly. And then you can tell me whether I'm. Can you see my screen?
I can.
Right. Okay. So here we have my bearing. Can you see this thing at the bottom with bearings on it? This thing down here. Can you see this? Can you see where it says 239, 240, 241?
Yeah. The only thing is, though, I don't think the people in chat can see it, but it's okay.
Is it too small?
No. I don't mean that. I mean I don't think Nathan's sharing it.
Well, if I'm not coming out when I'm speaking.
Don't worry about me.
No, it's okay. Go on. Carry on, Rumpus.
Right. Yeah, well, I want to be able to show this, and obviously, if people can't see what I'm doing, that'd be ridiculous. I can show them how I'm going to do this.
They can. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Honestly, they can see you.
Oh, yeah, they can.
Okay, all right. Right, so here's the bearing from the St. Bees, though I must admit, this is the bearing from your first video position, not your second. It'll be close, but it'll be very slightly off because you moved so much, because this picture is clearly from the second video, which is from a lot higher and from a lot further to the on the path. So anyway,
yeah, it's about 12 feet in difference.
No, it's not. It's huge. I'll show you later.
Let's argue about that later. Come on, let's try and stay on.
So there we are. So there's you're calling your tuft of trees. That is at a bearing of 23978. So if I go into Google Earth and I go and look at that, I can now we should be able to tell you what is there.
Right, I've got Google Earth. I've got 23978, and it's cliffs.
Yeah, well, okay. Let me just go.
There's no trees. This is where.
Well, who's to say that's trees? I mean, this is just a blob.
No, it's rocks.
Yeah, it's rocks. Great. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but I'm asking you to identify the tuft of trees.
Well, hold on. You said it was that thing I was pointing the arrow at. You said it was this. Can you see my pointer?
Yeah, you're not talking at cross purposes. You are talking about the same thing. You are talking about the same thing, Grumpus.
Right, so you're calling that a tuft of trees. I'm saying you couldn't tell that between that and a rock. You're calling it tuft of trees. I'm not.
Yeah, Riley just uses words. He has no definition. He'll just call it trees, and it could be a rock, or it could be.
I mean, are you telling me you can tell whether that's trees or rock, or
okay? Look, let's not debate about the description of it. We're both in agreement. You're both in agreement. It's the same thing you're looking at. Let's move on.
Anyway, so I think it's a bearing of 23978, and if I go to Google Earth on that, let's get a bearing. I can tell you what that is. Let's get the ruler going. And I'll go from your second vantage. This time, I don't know what to. Yes, I'm not quite sure which vantage point to use here because it's going to be different because of the error. Okay, we'll try that. So if I
Rumpus, the bit that you're trying to achieve here is you're trying to find an equal part of trees, clump of trees, because they are Douglas Head. But if it's not Douglas Head, you do need to find something that resembles a clump of trees.
It's not a clump of trees.
Right, but it is. It's demonstrably, evidently, and logically and reasonably a set of trees.
I dispute that. 239.8.
I've got to say, this is not important what it is. All that matters is that you agree you're looking at the same thing in the composite. That's it. Who cares what's on top of that lump?
Right.
It's a lump.
Okay, I've now identified that. I'll just go on to the right place. Unfortunately, it's very whoops. Count this line. 239.8. There is right, that bump is, I can give it, that bump you're looking at is something called, oh God, just, right, yeah, I think I've got it. Yeah, yeah, I think I've got it. Yeah, it's not trees, it is, I can give you the, I believe it to, oh, actually there are trees there. Oh, it is trees. Okay, I can give you, and I can tell you, yeah, they are trees. Okay, now the location is, just give me this.
Does it have a name?
I can give you the, I can give you, I'll put the latitude and longitude in the chat. Does it have
a name by any chance?
Northern, here's the northern, and here's the easterly. Anyway, I've put the location out so you can put it into Google Earth yourself. Surely you can do it. Last time you tried to do that, you didn't manage it very well. But there's the location of those trees. And they're actually trees, in fact.
For the benefit of the audience, there was a space that was incorrectly placed in the middle.
No, I did not.
Hold on. No. Who cares? This is not important. Have you got those coordinates, Anthony?
It's just where's he put them in the side chat?
In the group chat. Yeah. In the group chat of the hangout.
Right.
They're on screen if anyone wants to look them up in the audience.
Nathan, I think you'll have to show me next.
Yeah. You just let me know when you're ready.
So you can, so someone else can share Google. I say, for some reason I don't. For some reason, it doesn't seem to screen grab. I don't know what's going on. My screen's too big or something. But...
Thank you, Rumpus. Brilliant.
Oh, this is brilliant. Right.
So in fact, they are trees. So I thought they weren't trees, but in fact, they're the trees on top of a on top of a hill in the far distance.
Okay. So I've got my man on screen now. Do we agree that this is the location that you've just given me?
That's 5496.96 north. 4 degrees, 33 minutes, 47. Yes, that's correct.
All I did was I copied and pasted, stuck them in there, and then clicked search.
It's correct. It's correct.
So what I'll do is I'll now put a line of sight in, because this is what you're identifying as the comparison. And then I'll zoom out, put them over here, and then I'm going to make an assertion that they're going to be blocked completely by rocks. If they're blocked completely by rocks, Rumpus, means that they're not going to be what we're looking at in the evidence.
Well,
do we agree?
Well, I've just done it.
Was it blocked by rocks or not?
Well, not on my wall, wasn't it? No.
Okay.
Mike Jones.
While you're doing that, I'll just say a couple of hellos. So we've been joined by Make4 and Mike Jones. Make4 was in first. If we could just get a quick hello if you've got your mic open.
Hey mate, how you going?
Good to have you here. And how you doing, Mike? Again, if you've got your mic open, Mike.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you here.
Well, I haven't.
So, what's the verdict?
They are blocked by rocks.
How? Yes, but you do realise you can't do that by just following the path.
Is there any kind of special refraction that can account for us getting up and over the rocks that are in front?
Quick, dig out the RC maths, Rumpus. Quick. Maybe we're seeing it around the entire circumference of the globe, Rumpus. Maybe it's coming from behind our own arses.
Actually, there is another potential candidate on that same line.
There's another potential. You don't sound very certain, Rumpus. This is very...
Well, let him finish a sentence for Pete's sake.
He's finished it. We've just had lots of silence while Rumpus puts us to some trees that are blocked by this hill here. So,
Rumpus, if it's on that bearing, the absolute furthest point you can see is this ridge, because it's blocked by the ridge. So there has to be a clump of trees on that bearing, and there isn't one.
not a big enough band-aid, I'm afraid, Rumpus.
So, Rumpus, your identification is wrong. We are not.
It's right. It's right. It's absolutely. It's along that bearing. It's exactly. Well, I must admit, I say there might be a couple of tenths of degree out because.
I don't think
but
you're going to
even
get
so,
around
there's a
this
big
bloody
ridge
great
of
big
the
hill
rock
with a
in
couple
the
of tenths of degrees.
What?
Are you being ridiculous again, Rumpus? I think you are. Come on, Rumpus.
Where-
Just
how are you
accept
dra- where are you
defeat.
drawing
Be a
that
bit
from?
more gracious. Come on.
But-
Just accept it.
I'm drawing it from.
Another total fail on the globe side. Oh well.
No.
How you doing, Jazzaconda? Good to have you
Yes,
here.
I can assure you.
It's
I've
all right.
got it
Let's
exactly
Rumpus,
right.
you're done for a bit. Hi,
But if you've got it
Jazzaconda. Good to have you here.
If you have it exactly right,
Well,
Rumpus,
Hold on,
I've
hold
got
on,
the
Anthony.
bearing
Hold
right.
on,
I
hold on.
haven't
I am going to
established
introduce
what I'm
him.
looking at yet, exactly yet, but I've got the
Okay.
bearing right.
all right. So this is
Hi,
where- can you see
Jazzaconda.
the
How you
screen,
doing?
Rumpus?
Hi. Can you hear us?
I
Goodbye,
can't see your screen,
Jazzaconda.
no. It's been. Don't know quite well. And Nathan.
You
keeps
need,
on-
you need to look at my screen at this point,
Yeah,
Rumpus.
I can see your screen now. Yes.
Okay, so this is where one end of it is. There's the campsite, and I mean, you can even have it there. But I
Yeah,
mean,
you've got it. Yeah, your thing is there. That's right. It's nearer there, or is it further along to the?
no, it definitely
No, it's
isn't.
further along
far.
to the left. It's further along to the left. Your view.
No, it isn't. This is the
Oh, it
highest
is.
point, and that video is not public. So it's somewhere along here. You can have anywhere along here.
Oh, sorry,
Doesn't
you're right.
have to
Sorry,
be-
you are right. Sorry, it is. It is. Yes. Sorry, it's to the left of. Yeah, close to where you are. Yeah, that's right. It's close to where you are.
right. So on the bearing line that I've drawn the line from, which is the trees that you're asking me to, that you think is the trees that we see. Let's see how far up we are.
Where's your bit? Where's the
Right, here we go.
and where's the
So-
bearing on you?
Now
haven't
you
got
can
your-
see the trees in the background there, but bear in
Hold
mind
on,
I'm
where-
now.
Well, hold on. Where's the bearing? I can't see. Oh, then you. Oh, right. You can't. Yeah. Okay. You've switched off the ruler to show the bearing.
No.
Where's the bearing on this then?
Oh,
Heading. Sorry.
It's down here. Can you see it?
Why is it giving a heading of 58.73 degrees?
Well, all right. Let's go back to the. I'll
Right,
show you what I
Fiddle,
did.
hold
for
on,
the
hold
second
on.
time.
I'm joined by Paul. Good to have you, Paul.
Yeah, I've got a
Oh.
presentation to make after Rumpus is finished.
No problem.
Just to
I can
interject,
confirm it. I can
Just so you know,
confirm
Paul,
that it's not Douglas.
it has to be 30 minutes at least.
Yeah, I've got.
Okay.
I've got a budding 30-minute as well as
Rumpus,
that.
wait. Let's finish this point, Rumpus.
Okay.
'cause
Yeah. Let's finish this point. Yeah. Okay. Let me just try and draw mine again on that bearing.
So that's all I've done, and you've seen the other side of
Yeah.
it.
I will.
And when we get down to the observation, well, roughly the observation height, which
You
takes
see,
into
you're not
account.
staying on. I need to follow the line because I picked the first. You see, you're drawing it. I don't understand why you think you're what you think you're doing there.
I've just drawn it exactly on the bearing that you gave me. This is the bearing that you gave me.
Right. Okay. But
So when I follow it backwards,
right. The reason, of course, is that Google thinks you're only right. The reason here is that Google thinks, amazingly, that high point, which is at 33 meters, they think it's only at 16 meters. So that's why they may draw things incorrectly. And also, I know what you've got the line. You've set the parameter for drawing on the surface, haven't you?
Sorry, just to
You've
get
set
another
the
bit of
there's a
clarity
way
for the
of-
audience. So
there are two
Rumpus is now
parameters.
saying
Hold
that
on, I've got a point.
Google Earth is completely wrong in this respect
No,
as well.
hold on,
And it's,
listen, Nathan,
hold on,
listen
just
to
to give
what-
clarity, we've got another Rumpus Google Earth debunking. So it's
Yeah.
not
Right,
drawing
no,
the land at all
no,
correctly, so it's skewing
Anthony,
up the
you've got
line of
setting
sight.
for the line. Anthony, you've got the setting
Superb.
for the line. going
Rumpus,
along
I
the
love you, my friend. Keep debunking
Anthony,
Google
you've
Earth
got the
for us.
setting
It's
for
ace.
your heading thing, your ruler, as following the surface of the Earth or something. There's a two options for how it follows where you're going, and so
So what
that's
would you-
why. So it's going into the sea, as you saw. It was going into the sea at the sea level and then coming out.
so what parameter would you like?
I'm not. Let me just.
Guys, if you could stop interrupting Nathan's interruptions, that would be awesome.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
completely agree.
course.
Thank you very much, Lottie. So as I was saying, Rumpus is doing an excellent job of debunking Google Earth and showing just how inaccurate it is. Can you please let him continue to debunk Google Earth thoroughly?
I mean, it's amazing, Nathan. You think what I'm doing is debunking? You think because you can draw a line on a plan view
Rumpus.
of Google Earth, you somehow think, just as you could draw a line on Google Earth all the way to the Florida or
Rumpus,
to Ghana, you think that invalidates what we're seeing in the picture, how that
Rumpus.
invalidates.
Stay
I
on
mean,
topic. Rumpus,
Okay,
stay-
let's stick to this thing. Yeah, hold on, let me just draw this
right.
line again.
What altitude would you like the line clamping to?
Hold
Because
on.
we're at, the observation height is around about 25 feet.
It's at no,
25
not
meters.
25, if you allow for the tide, it becomes 30.
It's irrelevant to the tide, isn't it, Rumpus?
33. No, because you was.
Right, pick your value.
Well, it's about 30. It's about 31 meters if you don't allow for the tide. 30.
Right, 31 meters. So now we have the observation height clamped to 31 meters. And unless you're going to argue that in the evidence we're looking at these little bits here at the shoreline, which is
no, we're not
beach,
looking at. I don't think we're looking. Let me just hold on. Let me just.
Then we are not looking at this clump of trees in the background here.
Let me just do it again on my bearing.
Okay, then.
Okie dokie.
Busy trying to look at your stuff. Hold on. Right, let me just draw.
So right. Whilst Rumpus is doing his math.
Okay, right, I've got it here. Right, okay, let me just try this again and see if I've got. I'm drawing the same thing, and
he's trying to identify this clump of trees on the horizon, but unfortunately, when he puts his figures in, it's blocked by this rock. And when he puts the altitude of the line in,
you're looking completely the wrong place.
But this is where you've told me to look, Rumpus.
You've got
You gave him the bearing. He put it on the map. You confirmed it was the correct bearing. Then we moved on and looked at where it was, Rumpus. What's the problem?
This is the bearing you gave me, Rumpus.
Well, I don't understand how you're. Where you're
it's very confusing for you, Rumpus. It's amusing for the audience. It's confusing for you. It's great for us. You're doing a great job.
This is where I'm coming from, Rumpus. I'm putting it on the point where I was. Oh, actually, for some reason that seems to have moved. Wait, what? Oh, it's because the elevation height is too low for the land. So that proves that we're not at the elevation that you think we're at.
You are looking at completely the wrong thing.
Shout out to Dell.
You cannot have the. You must be. I don't understand this. And that's why you've got this strange value of the bearing is heading is 239.8 from your vantage point. Yet you were showing a value of 58 point something.
That's because I came backwards from the line.
Oh, right. Okay. That's true. Okay. Right. Well, this time, how about you going to St. Bees Head, or where I believe you were standing, on near the highest point?
Let me get this straight. Now we're going to change. Hold on. We're now changing the viewer location. You having a laugh?
Well,
you've just asked him to go to St. Bees Head. Are you having a laugh?
No, not St. Bees Head. The bit where we believe.
You just said, "Can you go to St. Bees Head?" That's
yes.
Your exact
sorry,
words.
Nathan. I meant the location to be his viewing location at St. Bees Head, just to differentiate.
Yes, that's what I've just asked you to clarify. Are we now going to change the location of viewing point to be St. Bees Head? Yes, we are. Is the answer?
No, we're not.
And I'm saying, are you having a laugh? Why are we doing this? What's the point?
No, we're not. No, we're not.
You're damn right we're not.
Right. So it's where Anthony had the right viewing point, that highest point. It was just a little bit off to that. It's where he was. And if you take a heading there of 239.81 degrees, you don't end up at those cliffs you were just showing at all.
Welcome, Tim Mossman.
How you doing, Tim? Sorry, didn't see you come in.
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to say right quickly that we're gonna actually. I think Miles is going tomorrow to this place. I think obviously Riley will be going back. So, like I said before, guys, this is one observation that we've spent.
Don't snipe him. It's really infuriating.
Dell has satanic tattoos.
Don't snipe people. He's got as much right to put his objections as anybody.
Was that sniping warrior again?
I have no idea who's booting him.
I think he was gonna debunk Google Earth too.
Yeah, he might have done. Exactly, P. He could have been doing just as good a job as Rumpus, and now he's gone, and that's upsetting.
Right, you're looking at the wrong thing. I don't know how you're doing it, Anthony, but you're not going to the right place. You're not following a bearing of 239.81. Given the fact that I gave you the location, I don't understand how you've managed to do that. How have you managed to do that?
Sniper made the thing go scrap.
Oh, hold on. Oh. Let me do this again. What is going on here? There was 239.81. Yeah, 239.78 actually.
Right, can you not snipe Tim Osmond this time, please? Can you just let him have his say? Leave him be. Don't snipe him, whoever's in the back chat.
23978. It's on the same clump of trees, but we're still presented with the same problem.
Pew, pew.
239. Let's check that.
So again,
239.79. Okay, that's what I wanted. 2.79. Right, let's just check where I'm going there again. Right. Line measure. Okay. Right, save that. Oh, God. Bloody thing. Let's see my bloody screen.
Freddy Got Fingered is a really good movie.
all right, Rumpus, I've got this lined up exactly the way you asked for it, and I'm going to assert to you that there is no set of trees that we can match at all on the landscape that you're putting, and the landscape doesn't match.
Well, there is. Oh God, you've just stopped sharing.
Probably been sniped.
Oh dear.
Mike Jones.
YouTube snooped him.
Oh, for the love of God.
You might want to remove YouTube from the back chat. He was the one that sniped him.
I'm not in the back chat. If someone's in the back chat, feel free to remove him. I'm not there. That's why you can't snipe me.
Come in the back chat. Sniping good, swearing bad.
Sniping's not good, it's just unavoidable. So someone in the chat said, he welcomes the snipers. Well, I can't do anything about them. Literally, I can do nothing. It's a Google problem. So may as well say, well, you know, you guys are all welcome to be here. If you want to do that and demonstrate that that happens, I want to put that on air. But it doesn't change the fact that it's extremely irritating when you've got a panel full of people. People want to hear both sides of the argument. People want, on the Globe side, to see this debunked. And these guys are working extremely hard to debunk it. And, you know, Tim Osman's view is this is one observation, and he's right. It is just one observation, and that should be heard by the audience. You know, they need to get a handle on what's actually going on. He's got a good point. Why isn't it being heard? Makes me really angry.
When Rumpus is finished, I've got a presentation ready to show you that it's not Douglas that you're saying.
Welcome to here as well.
You might as well go ahead. Well, I want to just pin down some of these numbers and things a bit more. So you might as well go ahead while I get some more details on the.
You go ahead, Paul. You're on screen.
Yeah, you are. Willing to go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What you see on my screen at the moment is the composite image. I've enhanced the contrast on it a bit, and I've put a number of vertical lines at a significant number of locations. You'll see the locations that I've put the lines on. Let me just get that one back up. This is like a composite image. I've put lines right at the end, at the last bit of land. I've put lines at that house there, which you're calling Douglas, we're calling Bella Canal. I've put lines at that house, and that house, which I've also identified. I've put line there, which I've identified. There's the Morghold Lighthouse, which I've identified, and various other places along there. I just want to show you a couple of them. Another one of interest is this one up along here, this very distinctive cliff face there. It's very distinctive, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to hide this bit, and I'm going to bring up this, which I will put something else in front of. I've just got to get the right things there. Okay, what I've got here is the same composite image, except I've shrunk it down in size and put it in front of a thing called Peak Finder. Okay, I've set the elevation height at 70 feet from Peak Finder, and the location that we're observing from is St. Bees up in the corner here. Okay, and so I think you can agree that this lines up fairly well with the Peak Finder. And what we can do, I can actually go along and identify some various things. I can show in the big version of this. No, I've got to get the big version of it. Some of the things that we notice in here. What I want to pay particular attention to is the other end of the image, starting at that town that we're calling Ballacannel and you're calling Douglas. And I want to show, and I want to show some features, okay? So I'm going all the way back to that town, this one here, okay? So I'm going to be able, I want to set it up so that I can switch backwards and forwards between Peak Finder and this image here, okay? So what we're looking at is this town here, which you guys are calling Douglas, we're calling Ballacannel, okay? So what I'm going to do is follow this ridge up. So this ridge goes up here. So you follow that ridge up there, and we're going to come to a key feature, which is this part here, right? This dip in the top there, okay? And what I'm going to do now is go back to Peak Finder. That dip is that dip there, okay? So we're going to keep following that ridge up until we get to another dip in the image. So we'll go back to that image now, and we'll follow it along until we get to another dip in this image. So we follow it along, and we get to another dip in the image, which is there, okay? And there we see Morghold Lighthouse. I'll go back.
I'm really sorry to do this, Paul. Sorry to do this, Paul. Sorry, Paul. Sorry to interrupt. I'm really sorry. Can you just do it one more time? Just like go through, find the peak, match it, and then go through one more time. Just call me stupid.
Right from the start, or
yes, please. I'm really sorry to get you to do it again.
Right from the start.
Yes, please. Just from you start matching them up, and then I'm just cognitively trying to match it up in my mind as you do it. I know you've probably done it so many times, and I'm so grateful for what you're doing. You've done a lot of hard work, so thank you.
This is the town that we're calling into question in the image, right? Okay, so I'm going to pay a particular attention to this ridge here. Okay, so we're going to follow this ridge up here and identify this dip here. Okay, so I'll go back to the actual image, and what we'll do is we'll follow that ridge up. So I'm following this ridge here. This is the ridge that goes up the middle here. Okay, so we're following it up until we get to that quite distinctive dip in the top there. And I'll just go back to Peak Finder to show you that dip yet again. That's that first dip there. All right, and it looks very, very similar. What we're going to do now is we're going to follow this ridge up until we get to this peak here and stop. So I'll go back to the image, and we'll follow this ridge here up further until we get to that next point. So the next point is there. So there's the dip there. So I'll go back to the Peak Finder to show you how that matches. That's that dip there. And that's where Morghold Lighthouse is, under that dip there. Okay. So what we can do is we can keep following this ridge up, and it should come to Snaffell, the highest peak. So Snaffell, the highest peak, is there in front of us right now. The top is hidden by clouds. And to the right of that is another peak called the North Barrule. So I'll go back to Peak Finder and show you where they are. So we follow it up. There's Snaffell. There's the North Barrule. Okay. And then from here, we'd expect it to go down. Not only that, but for Morghold Lighthouse, we expect another low ridge down here. I'm going to show you that. Okay, so we go back to here, we go back to Morghold Lighthouse, and you see this low ridge down the bottom here with the houses and stuff on it. That's what we're seeing there. So that matches in nicely as well. So we'll go back. That's Snaffell. That's the North Barrule. And then we go further along until we gradually go down to the sea. And that's the point which Anthony in his original video called "This is where the end of the Isle of Man is." And so we keep on going further along. We keep on going further along until we get to this very distinctive cliff here, this very distinctive marking on this cliff here. And in the image, in the Peak Finder, that is off to the right here, and you can't see it at the moment. But what I want to do now is go to Google Earth, right? So I want to go to Google Earth. I want to show you
just before you do,
just
before you go to Google Earth, Paul, That last bit was a bit confusing. So you said it's not there on the Peak Finder. I'm a bit confused about that. Why isn't it there?
Because I'm not at a high enough elevation at the moment in Peak Finder. I can do it in a moment, right? So
well, no. Just before you do, I just don't want you to go on to Google Earth before that's. We've got a mismatch, and I just want you to. If you're saying you have to go higher in elevation to make it match,
we don't have a mismatch. It's just not on my image at the moment. This is that very distinctive
that doesn't match
here.
the image. I've got to get this absolutely tied down because there's discrepancies between the two.
It does match the image.
It's not there.
Okay?
Therefore, it doesn't match.
The image.
Hold on.
Because
I don't want to have to do this 5 times with you, like every single time, Paul. Right? You've just clearly told us it doesn't match. It's not there. Now I want to know why.
I'll tell you why it's not there, Nathan. Because here is the end of the thing called the Isle of Man. That image is out to the side here. That's why it's not there.
That's not an explanation.
It's
what are you talking
not
about?
on my monitor.
You've just said, hold on. You've just said that. You've just pointed to what's the end of the Isle of. Are you saying that is the end of the Isle of Man?
No, I'm not saying it's the end. I'm saying that is what Anthony called the end of the Isle of Man.
So
in his
hold on.
video.
So
what's
that? So what's on Peak Finder? Why do you keep arguing with me and talking over me? I'm just asking a simple question. Why do you keep getting really irate with me when I'm just asking a simple question? At the below on Peak Finder, if you go down with your mouse, could you? Yeah. Keep going.
Yes.
No, you're going right. You seem to be going right now. I said go straight down. You seem to be struggling to listen to the words. Go back to where you were.
Straight
there
down.
You go. There you no. Now go down. Straight down. What does that? What's that?
That's the part in Anthony's video that he calls the end of the Isle of Man.
What's it in Peak Finder?
It's not the end of the Isle of Man.
What's it in Peak Finder?
The end of the Isle of Man. Yeah, it's not. Okay.
What is it?
Now, this image...
Oh, but stop. I keep asking you the same question. You keep just jumping your mouse away from it. Keep your mouse where it is and tell me what that is right there.
That's the end of the highlands in the northern part of the Isle of Man. Okay? I can show you where that is on Google Earth if you like.
So from there on
in...
Hold on. So from there on, everything in the Isle of Man is lower than that point?
No.
Right.
All right, I'll go back to the image.
Hold on, we're not getting there. Hold on, I haven't got to the end. So in Peak Finder, in the view, there is not another image like this matching.
I will show you that in a moment.
Well, you don't need to show it me. We've seen it. I'm not asking you to show me something different, Paul. Hold on. Paul. I'm not asking you to show me something different. I'm asking you to...
Why don't you hold on, Nathan, and let me finish my presentation?
No, I'm asking you why there's something missing from your presentation.
You're not going to let them finish the presentation, Nathan.
I'm trying to explain why, Nathan. You're not listening.
So it's not there in Peak Finder, right?
And I'm trying to tell you why, but you keep interrupting me.
Fine, go ahead.
Are you willing to listen? Right. I told you at the start. Right. I told you at the start that the elevation in Peak Finder was 70 feet. Anthony is not at 70 feet.
What's
he is higher than 70 feet. He's more like 130 feet. The point that I want to make is this part matches up very well.
Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. What does the Ordnance Survey map have him at?
It has 33 meters at the peak where he stood.
What's that, about 70 feet?
No, it's more like 130 feet, Nathan.
Okay, fine. Pop in 130 feet if that's what the Ordnance Survey map has. Fine.
Right. Yep. So I've identified all of those places. Now, you might want to know, where is Douglas on this Peak Finder?
No, I don't. You've gone off point again. No. Can you pop in 130 feet to this and see if that land reappears on the right?
That's exactly what I'm about to do.
Brilliant. Thank you. Finally.
That's exactly what I'm about to do. All right. So we go to here, and the next thing up is, if I can get it right, it's pretty sensitive, 130 feet. And so what we're going to do is we're going to reload it for 130 feet. It's just taking a little while. There is the reloaded image for 130 feet. This is the place that we identified.
Why are you going
that,
right?
That town
Hold
was
on,
at in
hold
this
on.
little group.
Go right, please. Can you go back to what we were actually looking at a moment ago?
Yeah. See,
This
there's
bit
the
that's
land that you
missing,
couldn't
this
see
tiny
before.
little bit of land. Now, can you contrast and compare that to the real image, please?
What?
In terms of its height, from my vague recollection, the little nose bit that sticks out on the left is approximately the same height as the nose bit that peeks out on the left. The gap in between... Hold on, just let me explain my problem. The two are roughly the same height in the actual image. What you've done by adjusting the height up is brought a tiny sliver of land in that's literally well below the line that's drawn above that land. So if you can compare and contrast that little sliver on the right to what we see on the right in the image, please. You're dragging it left again. You're dragging it left again. Why'd you do this?
What I have to
Because we
do.
keep on losing him.
Can you just let me finish my presentation?
There's a
Nathan?
mismatch. There's a mismatch in the image, a blatant
So
mismatch.
there
You've
is
had to
not
now
a
adjust the
mismatch
height, and
until
you're getting
I
angry with me because
my
I'm trying to clarify.
presentation.
The two don't match. This one on the right is considerably lower than what we get in the real image, and you've had to adjust your height to bring it in. So what's the problem? Why can't you just show us that it doesn't match? What's the problem? Why do you keep trying to dance away from this?
1,000 foot of wall of water there. Don't you see the 1,000 foot of wall of water?
Why are we being
Just
told?
shut up.
I just want Paul to zoom in. Hold on. I want Paul to zoom in on the right-hand side. Here we go. Finally.
Now, let's have a look, Nathan. How high is that land there compared to that land there?
Can you
It's
bring them
nowhere
both-
near the
Can you
same
hold- When you're
height.
looking at an empty page, can you bring them both into frame, please?
Can we present Paul so that we can see him all the time?
You have to
There's
click on him
1,000
locally,
foot of
Rumpus.
wall of water,
click on
Globus.
him.
You have a problem.
So, yeah. So,
Right,
can you
the
bring them
point
both
I
into
wanna
frame?
make-
Paul, can you bring both of those pieces of land into frame, please?
I will in a moment.
Why? Why can't you do it now?
But
This
the
is the
point
issue
I
that I've
wanna
got.
make-
The two
this
images
is
don't
my
match.
presentation, Nathan Oakley, not yours.
I don't get it. Okay, we'll go somewhere else to make it then. You don't have to make it here.
Stop proving me wrong in my 1,000 foot of wall of water.
I want him to show the two
So the
images
point I
in
wanna
the same.
make-
They don't match.
Quite
And he's trying to
frankly,
dance
the
around
right-
it.
the land
I
to the
don't see
right
what the problem is.
Absolutely irrelevant.
Why can't you bring that
Because
last
get
third of the two
Guess
images
where
into
Douglas
shot
Head is?
and show
you
us?
still can't see Douglas Head from here, can you?
Yeah, but if the other side of the image doesn't match, Paul, hold on, if the other
Alright.
side doesn't line up and
Let's look
match,
where
then we've got a
Douglas
problem, haven't we?
I will do that in my own time.
Oh, so you just want to show
Alright.
the bits that
Guess where
do
Douglas
match?
Head is?
You only want to show the bits that do match.
Nathan.
No, I
Well,
don't.
yeah, his
I will go back to
presentation's
that.
his
I
presentation's
will go back to
fallacious if he only shows the bits he wants to show. I'm trying to get him to show the bits that don't match.
No,
Nathan, seriously,
I will show them.
you haven't let him
It's
finish
the
his
1,000
presentation.
foot
Shut
of
up,
wall of
Lottie.
water.
Showing
I
you.
want him
Just
to
shut
show
the
it, and he
fuck
won't. He's dancing around it. I want him to bring up the last section, the last third of the composite, and Peak
You are
Finder, the last
such a
third of Peak
rude
Finder,
person.
in the
Can
same
he get there,
shot.
Nathan? He's getting there.
Why is he
Absolutely
dancing
rude.
around it?
He's going to go there. Then
Right.
go
Okay,
there.
let's see if he goes
Here
there.
is the lines. Here is the image lined up again. Here's the main part of the Isle of Man lined up yet again, except this time I've gone high enough in altitude. I've had to go
You've
to
just moved it.
260
You've just moved the
feet
image.
before
You've just
I can
moved
see
it. Hold on, you've just lined it
Guess
all up and
what?
shown us. Now you've moved the image.
Where
Are you
is
having a
Douglas
laugh?
Head?
What kind of a
And
joke
where
is
is
this?
Douglas Head?
You've just slid
It's
the main
way
image.
out.
You've just slid the main image to make it match. You've just moved it. I've just watched
and I
you.
will line it. No, and I will line it up again.
So you've got to move the
All right,
image to
you
make
want
it
me to line
match.
it again?
Let's just get this clear for the audience. In order to make
I'll
these
line it
peaks
up
line up, Paul's
I'll
having to
line it
move
up
the
again.
image.
Oh, Nathan.
You're moving the
just
image.
let him finish, for Christ's sake.
It's not finished. He hasn't got us lined up at composite. He hasn't lined it up at all. He's having to move it on the fly.
Nathan. There you
You're
go,
having to
Nathan.
move
It's
it
lined up
on
again,
the
Nathan.
fly. This isn't lined up. You're moving it on the fly.
It is
Just-
lined up again,
Just
Nathan.
have some patience.
Right?
You're going to
It's
troll me
lined
now.
up
I point this
again,
out to the
Nathan.
audience. You're all going to troll me while I point this out. He said it was all lined up. He showed us the first half of the image. We've got to a tricky bit. Now he's relining it up.
It's lined up again, Nathan.
So yeah, because you've moved
Where's
it.
Riley
There you
now?
go.
You want to tell me you've got it all lined up and then
It's
move it?
lined
This
up
is
again,
ridiculous.
Hey, Nathan, it's lined up again. The main part of the Isle of Man is lined up, and guess where Douglas Head is? Douglas Head is right out.
Yeah, but this isn't the problem
Nathan.
part of the image. I've just gone through this with you and you won't do it. You've danced. No, you're trolling me now. I'm not going to let you get away with this, Paul.
You won't have to do
The
this.
problem is not this side. You've
I'll
gone
take
through a whole
screenshots.
demonstration. Why is everyone trolling me when I get my point in? Why is everyone trolling me now?
Because you're being
You have
obnoxious.
no point.
Because
I
you're
do. I'm
a
trying to make
wanker.
it, but everyone's talking over me.
Oh, yeah. You know how it is, Nathan, now, right? When someone's trying to do a presentation and you talk over him constantly,
Yeah,
it's
but the
infuriating,
problem,
right?
Lottie, is that he's done the presentation
so I
on...
hope
Hold on.
everybody
Why are you now
can see.
trolling me,
I hope
Paul?
everybody can see.
He's just asked me a
Let's talk
question,
over
Paul.
Nathan.
Shut up and let me answer
I hope
Lottie.
everybody can see that the main part of the Isle of Man lines up nicely with Peak Finder here. It's right. It's lined up. It's scaled to size. It
Yeah,
matches
I've
the
said
contours.
this. You've done the left, then the right didn't
Perfectly.
line up, then you've moved the image
Right.
to move it to line it up.
And guess where Douglas Head
Yeah,
is?
I've called you on it. I've
Douglas
called you on
Head
it. We've
is
seen this. You lined it up on the
right
left.
out here.
You lined it up on the left, and then I had a
Wow.
problem on the
Look
right.
where Douglas-
Then you adjusted the image.
Douglas
I'm not going to
Head
let
is
you get away with
all
it,
the way
Paul.
here.
You haven't got
Okay.
it lined up.
Well, I am.
You haven't got it lined up.
Is Nathan. Oh,
You
Douglas
had
Head.
to move it.
Douglas Head is all the way out
Yeah,
here,
you
Nathan.
did this. I know, Paul. I conceded and
What
let
does
you
that
and
say?
kept quiet while you
This-
did this. The problem came on the
Right.
right-hand
That
side.
says Douglas Head.
The problem's on the right.
Now let me line
That's
up.
why you're now
I
completely
can
fixated on the
line up
left.
the right-hand side.
That's
I
why
think
when I
now
said
I
don't
will
drag it
line
left,
up
you've
the
immediately
right-hand
dragged
side.
it left, and we're
To
nothing
line
but
up the
focused on the
right-hand
left now.
side, I have to shift the image across because my screen isn't big enough.
Oh no,
Right,
not enough
okay.
zoom and there's a
I can
problem.
help you.
So what I'm going
Just
to
like
do-
Rumpus when he's showing refraction that
Shift
shows you your own arse.
screen
Not
along.
enough screen to show the
What I'm
scale.
going to do
Zoom
now-
suddenly
so I'm
stops
gonna
working when
reline the
Paul's got a
image up.
problem. When
I'm
Paul
gonna
can't
use
line the
the
images up,
Isle of
when the
Man
peaks don't
to
line
line
up,
it
he has
up
to move
again.
the image. You
There
can't
you
line them
go.
up. You
It
can't
lines up again
line
now.
them up.
There you go.
I've just seen
I've
what's
got
happened, Paul.
lines
The
up
audience
again.
has seen it. I've
Guess
seen
what?
it. Everyone's seen it. You
This
couldn't line them
line
up,
here-
and you had to move the image. You did it while
I
I
can
was
help
talking and
line
you were
here.
talking, so
I
no
can
one would
help-
notice.
Yeah, I moved
But I
it,
noticed,
Nathan,
Paul.
to
Get
line
angry.
it up
You
again.
keep getting
I can
angry
help
while I
you.
point out
Nathan,
over and over again
it
that you had to
lines
move
up
the
again.
image.
I can
You
help
had to
you.
move the image.
It
After you
lines
did the
up.
left-hand side,
Where's your
you had to
boyfriend
move
Riley
it.
now?
This is a total nonsense.
And
You
guess
haven't got it
what?
lined
I can
up.
help you.
There is the cliff. Yeah.
Yeah, after
I'll
you've
give
moved
you
it
back
and
in a
in
moment,
amongst the
Ralph.
chaos.
Spoken.
Right? That
He's not got it
there
lined up.
is the distinctive cliff.
He's had to move it.
That there. Right?
This is nonsense.
That
This is
line
nonsense. You've not got a
there
working model. It's not
represents
lined up.
the
You had to move it halfway
last
through the
man.
presentation. This is nonsense.
Where's the thousand
Okay,
wall
I
of
can-
water?
Oh,
I can-
now,
Yeah,
now everyone's
1,000
trolling me.
foot
With,
wall of
now
water.
everyone's trolling me.
Bit of the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
You can see,
Paul
and
hasn't
that
managed to line it
represents
up.
where the point
It
of
did
air
not line
lighthouse
up.
should be.
In order
Point
to
of air
fudge that,
lighthouse should
he
be
stopped and
there
moved
in
it when
the
we
You've been
got
wrong
to
the
the
whole
tricky
time.
part that I
There.
pointed out. And now
Yeah,
So what I'm
everyone's
going
trolling
to do
me.
now
Now everyone's
is
trolling me.
I'm
No one
going
wants
to
to hear
actually
it.
show you
No one wants to hear
where
our
the
Paul's
point of
fudged
air
it.
lighthouse should
We can all
be.
watch it. We'll all be going back,
point
Paul,
of
unless
air
someone tries to
lighthouse
porn bomb me to try and
should
hide your glaring deception. That's what you've done. You've moved it because you couldn't line it up.
And you'd be able to
See,
question
the audience can,
I-
the audience can
I
also
think I
see
can
that I'm
help
now
here.
being muted. You couldn't line it up, Paul. You had to move the image.
I can line it up. I can line it up.
So,
I did
Rumpus,
line it up, Nathan.
let's just
You
get
can
it
say
clear
I
for the
didn't line it
audience.
up all you
While
want,
Paul
but I
gets
did.
more and more angry. You couldn't line it up, could you, Paul?
I'm not angry, Nathan. I'm laughing at how stupid you are.
I'm not stupid. I watched you
Yeah,
move
you've
the
done
image when you
nothing
didn't
but
have it
make
lined up on
claims.
the
Yes,
right-hand
you are.
side.
Bullshit
I know what I
claims
just
all the
watched.
time.
I've been watching this being done by someone else for
lined it
days,
up
Paul.
perfectly.
I know what's going
You've
on,
done
and I know what
amazing.
your problem is.
Nathan, I can line it up in
I
a way
will-
that you might be happy with.
Yeah,
I've
no,
got
no,
the
no,
same
Paul.
thing, 'cause I-
You didn't have it lined up. Rumpus is now trying to help you out. Right, he's already failed several
No,
times in this
Nathan
show and been
might
laughed
have
at by me.
anything.
You've now failed, and you had to move the
Try to
image when it
grasp
didn't
at
line up.
straws,
Yeah.
jackass.
Right, Nathan, I
Everybody
line
can
it
see
up
what's
in a way
going on
that you
here.
might
Yeah,
be
I can
happy
see
with.
what's going on. I've been watching the same stuff happen at my end on someone else's
I can-
screen for days,
Nathan,
and you
I
haven't
can line
managed
up
it.
in a way that you
He's
might be
tried
happy
to
with.
get around it by being deceptive and moving the image after doing the left-hand side,
I can
where he
line
did
up
have
in
it
a way
lined
that
up.
will not
So he
have
did
that
have it
problem.
lined up. I kept my
No,
mouth
yeah,
shut.
you're telling
As
them
soon
they're
as it
deceptive
stopped
while you
being
did
lined
Riley
up,
on the
that's
show.
when I
Good
piped up,
one.
and I won't let him get away with it. I won't let him get away with moving the
Lined it
image
up.
halfway through his presentation. He doesn't have them lined lined up. That's the bottom line here.
Right.
He doesn't have to like this, but I will continually point it out to the audience until he does a full scan without making any adjustments, without having to zoom out, without having to change the image. He hasn't got it lined up.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
have a
bottom
go.
line here.
Yeah, Thousand Wall of Water.
Right.
Yeah, now we
Remember
get
that
trolled.
one?
Yeah.
I've made my point.
Nathan.
Although you've tried to talk all over me, that's absolutely fine. I don't care. That's fine.
Paul,
That's
hours,
all you guys have got
1,000 feet
when you
away.
get it
I'm having a
wrong.
problem with
All
the
you've
fact
got
that
when
you
you get it
have to
wrong
scale
is to
everything
troll
so
the living
you can-
daylights
I
out of
have
the person
got
that's pointing it
scale
out to you.
such that I've got it all lined up and I don't have to jiggle around with it like he's doing. So if you can see what unfortunately we're seeing some video here live, and can we not have me presented?
No, because I'm being continually trolled and talked over, so I'll present what I'm
gonna show you
presenting.
in a way, Nathan,
No.
that you'll be happy with.
You can talk, that's it. While
Well-
people are attacking me because I'm telling the audience that Paul's been extremely deceptive in his presentation,
Well,
I'm being
I can
trolled
show-
like you're now
I can
doing
show
to me
you
now.
lining up
Before I get to
in
the
a
end of my
way that you'll
sentence,
be
you're all
happy
trolling me, and people are joining to mute me, and people will probably try and porn bomb me because you don't like it. Tough.
What do we do?
I'm going to point it out till the
Please,
cows going
Nathan,
home.
please.
It doesn't matter
You're
what
acting
you
like a dick, Nathan.
You go ahead, Lottie, you've got the mic.
Sure.
Go ahead, Lottie.
Right, can I just Nathan, if you actually let Paul finish his presentation, I understand you have questions.
Not
but if you let him
questions,
finish his
issues.
presentation- No,
Issues,
you're not
not
even letting me
questions.
finish.
I didn't.
Not
There was
even
no
letting me
question about what happened,
So this
Lottie.
is where-
There was no question about what I saw happen. It's able to be seen by anybody else in the aftermath. They can go back and look at it. They can go back and look at it. I didn't have a question. I had an issue, and I pointed it out.
That's fine, but if you waited till the end of the presentation, that might have been clarified before you interrupted him. Just
No, he
usually what
couldn't line
happens
it
is
up.
people make
That's
presentation,
why he
and
danced
at the
around
end,
it so long.
you can-
That's why he
No
danced
issues
around
with
it,
that.
Lottie. Look, Lottie, you don't have to understand what's happening here. The smart people understand what just happened and watched it. You don't have to. I don't care.
Yeah. And they understand that you're acting like a dick, Nathan.
You're better at this trolling than me, Nathan.
Nathan, I can present it in a way that you'll
Yeah.
be happy with.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'm
I've got it
happy.
all scaled,
I'm
so I
now
don't have to
happy now
deal
that
with
Paul's shut his mouth and stopped trying to be deceptive for Rumpus to have another go.
Okay, right. So if you
Wow,
Don't
Nathan,
worry.
you've sniped me
Watch it
3
on the-
times so far.
Don't worry, Nathan. You can watch it on the video when I make my video about it, and you can take
can.
all the time
I'm
you
sure
like to
all
understand.
6 subscribers will get to see it.
Right, but I'm going to try and present you with a video, an image here, and I can't do that unless I'm being presented. If
You
and
go
you'll be
ahead,
able to-
Rumpus.
you'll be able
You
to
are
see
being
what I'm doing,
presented.
and you'll be able to say, "Oh, look, that lines up with that or not." But I can't do that if people can't see what I'm doing.
Yeah, if you just open your ears, you are being presented.
I don't. That's not what's coming through. I'm still seeing Sky on the Hangout screen. Hangout screen is still showing floaty clouds.
I keep telling the people in the Hangout, don't worry about what I'm doing. You're being
All right.
presented.
Okay. Yes, the Hangout.
Hi,
yes,
I'm Nathan Oakley, and I'm a piece of shit liar.
really good for that contribution.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really want to
Right.
present you, because we're just being trolled to all hell.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think your behaviour towards Paul then might have provoked them to get a bit all agitated. But I mean, I think it's reasonable. Your point actually is quite reasonable in the sense if you see a gross error, I think it's reasonable for people when someone's doing a presentation and you think they've made a gross error to say, "Oh, hold on, you've just made a gross error." So that's fine, I think, actually, to interrupt the presentation if you think something really horrible is going on. But all Paul was trying to do was just because he hadn't scaled things because he couldn't, he has to move things around. So at one
Sorry,
point,
just repeat that, please,
moment,
Rumpus.
there's a small error
Because
which
he
can
couldn't
try and get
scale
correct.
things, correct? He couldn't scale things, correct?
Well, he's having to move things
They were
around.
scaled.
Sorry,
Nathan.
he even said it
Anyway,
perfectly.
I've got
Let's
it all
mute
scaled.
Paul
I've got
while
it all
Rumpus has
scaled
some
up my
intellectual
head.
honesty.
So
You're
I
going to get
don't need to do
muted,
that.
you lying little. So because he couldn't scale things, he had to mute things. He had to...
No.
Sorry, mute things. You can see what I'm trying to do 2 things at once.
Right.
Right, he had to move things, correct, Rumpus? He had to move things. Google's got it wrong.
Is that what you're reducing to?
He had to move things.
If he has to
So,
move
as
two
Rumpus
things
has
together, you
intellectually
can
honestly
one thing
pointed
at
out,
a
when I
time.
see a glaring error,
One thing's
you're
not
damn
right.
sure I'm going to point it out to the audience. You don't have to like it, Paul, you weasel. Just like soundly. People don't like me calling them weasels and worms. I'll point out your gross error.
Right.
Rumpus will point it out too, because like I keep telling the people on this side of the fence, I see Rumpus as intellectually honest. Unlike Paul and unlike Soundly, I have a little bit of respect for Rumpus, because he's honest. He saw the glaring error. I saw the glaring error. He's now trying to get around it.
I broke my fast, but Nathan,
Nathan, if
even
you have to
weasels and
Oh, no,
worms
got a
can
new
point
guest.
out your
Hey,
idiocracy.
hey, we got a new
If
guest.
you have to move two objects on the screen to make them align again, at one point you move one and then the other. So
Yeah, that means
the
they don't
point
line up.
between when you've moved
That
one
means
and
they
the
don't
other-
line up, Rumpus. That means they don't line up, do they?
Well, yeah, if he has to move along, he has to translate them.
He doesn't like it either. When I've got a point, when I've got them against when I hold their toes against the fire, the audience get angry and say, "You should be a good moderator." It's because they don't understand when I see what Rumpus calls a gross error. When I see the same gross error, I point it out and hold Paul's toes to the fire till he squirms like a worm. That's what I do. The audience love that. They love it. They love Paul, the physicist, being humiliated by the Tesco van driver. They think it's hysterical.
Right, but the point was he had to move two objects and he couldn't move them both at the same time, therefore he had to move them individually.
Correct, they didn't line up. Exactly my point. Thank you, Rumpus. Well put. Well put. That's not all that happened. That's the gross error I pointed out to the audience. It's not all that happened. Let's not. I'll start calling you a worm in a minute, Rumpus, if you say things like, that's all that happened. The point is they've got to line up. They don't. He couldn't. He tried to worm his way out of it because he's a worm.
All of my argument tactics, really good
hey,
stuff.
Hey, Lou, good to have you. You're gonna just jump in and get your little words in like a little worm.
30 seconds.
Right, can I do this, please? Right, so here I have the image that has been provided with. Now, the first thing you've got to notice about this image is actually, I've corrected 2 errors in it up to this point, but you'll notice that the sea level starts to go at an angle here, which slightly compromises what I'm about to do. And you can see, unfortunately, it seems that Ranty doesn't know that the sea is level. So although he's composed it actually quite well for the first half, from this onwards, he's introduced an angled sea, which does slightly screw up the alignments, which is probably what Nathan's going to complain about in a minute. It's only slight. But here we have the image, and I've identified it, and I've got the bearings.
Oh, God. Are we really going to sit through this after that disclaimer? Are you really going to disclaim it and then make us sit through it?
Well, okay, we'll see whether you'll do.
No. So you've already disclaimed it. You've already disclaimed that you can't line it up. I'm not going to present you. You've already given me a disclaimer that makes me want to.
Well, okay, I won't take the disclaimer then.
I've just heard it. You want to backtrack? It's recorded.
No, I'm not going to backtrack on anything.
Good.
Are you going to let people see this or not?
No. You've just made the disclaimer that it doesn't line up.
Well, you can make a decision. I'll show you, and then you can.
You've just told us, because you're intellectually honest, it's your worst weakness, Rumpus. You've already told the audience the problem.
You agree that this image has got a bent C on it, do you?
Don't need to see any of it, Rumpus. You've just told me it don't line up. You can already go to the maths to explain it afterwards. You've already given the disclaimer. I don't need the explanation for why what you're about to show me doesn't line up with maths before you've even bloody shown it. Paul's tried, you've tried, but you've tried to get a disclaimer past me before you've even opened your mouth.
He doesn't need your disclaimer.
He's given it. I didn't give the disclaimer. I'm making no apologies, you moron. Yeah, okay, drop again like a little worm. Yeah, there we go. Off he goes. Good boy.
I'll take the disclaimer back.
No doggy biscuit for you this time, Lou.
I'll take the disclaimer back. You can judge it yourself. We can all judge, see what I'm about to do, whether it's valid or not. But you won't be able to see it if you don't.
Rumpus, there's no need to be polite to Nathan. He's not polite to you. He doesn't care about you. Paul's presentation was perfect. Perfect.
He's a sniveling worm.
Why did you just mute me, Lewis?
Because he's a moron and he's tried to mute me.
Oh right, yeah, you muted me for some reason, Lewis. I've got an image here that people can look at which shows the alignment, and it does it rather more effectively than.
Rumpus, I muted you so that everyone in the audience could hear me when I talk. I intentionally muted you because you were making noise. You're right in your presentation. You're 100% right, Rumpus. But Nathan doesn't care, and he's going to continue to humiliate you in the eyes of the audience. That's why I muted you, so that I could get my words in, which are important and pungent.
Thank you, Lewis. I think the audience will draw their own conclusion, even those who might be pro-flat Earth. What's going on here? The fact that he's not allowing me to show the image that I've got to overlay precisely with transparency, which is not what Paul's got. So I don't have to. And I've also scaled it correctly so that I don't have to jiggle with things, and I can present it sort of more effectively. But there is an if you do look at people can see the image and remember what it was. Unfortunately,
you're on screen.
Ranty has aligned the C so it starts to go upwards on the image. I've thought about correcting it myself, but I really shouldn't have to. So I was going to go. It's going to take quite a bit of time for me to recompose the image that Ranty's provided us with. But unfortunately, it's got a sort of the C slope as it goes to the right hand side slope up, which slightly affects the accuracy. That was all I was saying. That Ranty's made a slight error. That's all. I mean, you presumably spotted that, did you, Paul? The fact that the C slopes up at the right-hand side. Paul, are you there?
To find the clump of trees at Douglas.
Yeah, I'm there.
Can you see the way the sea slopes up on the right hand side?
I've got
yes,
some of the people back that were sniped on Skype now. So who have we got on Skype? Sorry, guys, just to introduce you to some of the people who've been sniped out of the call. Who's in Skype?
Yeah, well, by the way, Nathan,
I'm here. If how you doing,
Nathan,
guys?
I ejected one of the
They're
snipers.
sniping everybody at the moment. It looks like.
Yeah, I don't want to give Rumpus any more time.
They don't want the debate.
It's just boring.
This debate to continue. Strange.
You let them troll the hell out of Rumpus like they troll the hell out of me.
That will show exactly the point.
I don't know why we're bothering to be here, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point, isn't it?
Well, lied about everything so far. You can't take anything he says.
You don't like your toes being held to the fire, Paul. You don't like it at all.
About his height.
You don't like me holding your toes to the fire. I enjoyed it though. I really enjoyed it, Paul.
Well, that's very childish of you. Then.
Yeah, I know. That's what the audience want, though. That's what it's all about. Entertainment.
Well, okay. You being childish is being entertainment. I mean, the more you behave like this, the less credibility you have. Well, not you have in the first place, but even less. I mean, even the pro flat earthers will be thinking you're behaving in a rather childish manner here. They would like to see my image. I'm reasonably sure they would like to see my image and see that you then dismantle it or be dissected or Anthony have a go at it or something.
It's been on screen for about 5 minutes.
Have I?
Yeah. Keep telling you.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Sorry, I take that all back then, Nathan. Right. Okay. So,
Rumpus, where's that clump of trees?
Right. I'll go back to that. I was going on to this overlaying of the peak finder. So here we have Ranty's image going off to the left here, and I've got my bearings along the bottom here, so I can identify any bearing on here on the island. And as you can see, I believe that the image here ends at about 237.2 is where the left-hand edge of the island is, and as Paul correctly identified, that does not include Douglas. And on the right-hand side, and I've even included the lighthouse that Anthony wanted. Over here, I've actually, oh bloody hell, I've moved it. Oh damn it! It's I moved it. I put it on. I've moved the image subsequently. The lighthouse is actually here at just under 261. If you can see my pointer, this is the right-hand composite image that Ranty's got, and the lighthouse that he's this airy lighthouse, which I'll show down here. I've got on the page the one that.
Yeah, I got it at about 261 degrees.
Rumpus. Yeah, great, exactly right. Well done, Paul. So that's over here on the this image. So in here, now I'm going to overlay what Paul did, an overlay peak finder, and I've done it transparently. And you can see, now I'll change the transparency of this so that you can see going from one to the other. I'll zoom into one. Now you can see, unfortunately, this is the thing that that happens. On the left-hand side, peak finder and this absolutely agree. Here's the peak finder overlay. I'll just change the transparency so you can see it. Let me just select it, hopefully get that right. And if I make it. Right, so there's the original image, and here's peak finder coming in. And you can see that it's perfect. But unfortunately, as you go to the right-hand side, because as you can see, the sea starts to slope upwards because Rant is missing. As you can see here, if I draw a horizontal line,
it's got nothing to do with Ranty. Ranty can't change the sea.
Well, he's missing. Yes, but he can change how he's aligning these things, and he's
he can't. It's got to be something to do with the lens, Rumpus.
He's miscomposed the image because on the left-hand side, he's got it right. It is horizontal.
No. It's something to do with the opticals of the lens.
Rumpus,
it's not to do with Ranty.
Don't take any notice of it, Rumpus. Just keep going. They're trolling.
Right, okay. So the point is, on the left-hand side, it's fine, and on the right-hand side, he's just not aligned the bits correctly, and he's generated a cumulative error. So unfortunately, we've got this point here. This C over here is well above this C over here. But if we just ignore that for the moment and say, I mean, he's actually done a good job. I have to say that up to this point here, he's made 2 small errors up to 247 degrees. But prior to that, he's actually got it. He's done a good job. It all
don't worry about the errors. It's to show them that it's not Douglas.
So let's get this peak. Yes. So that shows it's not Douglas. So where's my bring back my the peak finder. I changed the transparency on it. Damn it. There we go. And so here's peak finder. And you can, and there's where it puts the mount. I must admit, I didn't put in the bit where it says Douglas Head, but you can see where the mount is here, and Douglas Head, as you saw where Paul was showing, is actually way over here. But that is the mouth.
Please, can you zoom in?
Now, on the
Rumpus,
right-hand
just on that
side,
mound.
you can see.
Sorry,
that there's a
sorry. I'm really sorry to interrupt.
slope-
I'm not trolling you. I promise.
Okay.
Please, can you zoom in? That was the contentious part that started this all. So please, could you just go back to the what we'll call the lump or mound or trees or whatever you want to call it?
Oh, the tree thing is here. That
just
was
zoom in on it.
I think that was this thing here.
This is the thing we started with, and we're trying to identify in the first instance.
So, oh no, sorry, it was this thing here. Sorry, that's where it was. It was this thing
Nathan,
here.
if you could just really, I'm really sorry, Nathan. If you could just stop being a flaming faggot.
Right. So there is the
Good suggestion by Louis there.
What was called the clump of tree. What Anthony calls the clump of trees, and I'm saying is I'm not. I believe there are some trees on that line, but there's also a hill there as well. And that
there are no trees on that line, and they are blocked by a ravine.
Really? Why are we arguing about a clump of trees when the rest of the profile of the mountain?
Exactly.
Why are we ignoring the very contentious point that we just went over? Let's just clarify this for Paul. So, Rumpus asserted that mound was some trees. Then we were Then we were taken to it, and it is blocked by a point of land.
Nathan, you're a flaming faggot. Calm down.
I've gone through on the
so
Google.
Let the audience know you are welcome to join with your opinions with me. That's perfectly acceptable.
Anthony's got it. He's showing pictures of around Douglas over here, and it does not in any way correlate to the. He's drawing a different line of sight. I don't understand what he's doing, but he's got it wrong.
In other words, Riley's lying again.
No, I don't think he's right. No, he's just merely incompetent.
Riley's lining it up on the Google Maps, and it's lining up with Douglas
so the point is, as Paul said, this totally agrees with Peak Finder. This image from this view.
He knows it's not Douglas.
I don't know. I think he does.
The tuft of trees is Douglas.
So, and this Peak Finder, let's give him that transparency again. So if we put that on, and you can notice how the Peak Finder angles here, 240. Actually, mine they're slightly off with mine actually. Okay, that's annoying. It's off by a few degrees there, by a tenth of a degree. They're 245, and my 245 is off by a tenth. Okay, so we're not completely in agreement, but close enough. Yeah,
I disagree. If it doesn't line up, it doesn't line up. This is the problem.
Yeah, we're off by.
Really?
The profile. We're off by 0.1 of a degree.
Sorry, Paul. Can you not troll Rumpus while he tells us that we're off? Hold on. Let's just hear Rumpus confess.
Well, it's off by 0.1 of a degree, which is very small. It's certainly with an acceptable degree of accuracy. And don't forget, I'm using here Ranty's composite image to create my angles. So
yeah, Ranty's concave water,
also, there's
and you
another
don't
point
think that's
actually.
something to do with the lens.
This angle, this Peak Finder was taken from the first video position that Anthony has, whereas the my angle. So these angles I've got is for the first video position, and the Peak Finder here is from St. Bees Head. So there's going to be a slight difference between those two.
Okay,
so
Rumpus, you keep saying that it's my composite that seems to be incorrect. So why are you still using it? Why don't you put the composite together? You have the video. Why don't you do it?
I was going to do that because I'm getting. I
was
found
going
two
to do
errors.
that. Well, instead of slagging it off, I suggest you get yourself down and do it. Make the composite yourself, and then do it and edit it yourself.
Yeah, well said, Ranty.
Right, I will do that, but actually you did a good. What I appear to believe, except until 245 near the lighthouse, you make a slight error, and you make another slight error.
Sorry, Rumpus. One more mute. Ranty, I know that making that composite was like the hardest thing on a computer you've ever done. So, I mean, don't feel bad that Rumpus here
no,
can
it takes time,
100 times more than you, okay? Don't feel bad. And first of all, if he did put together a composite, you probably would say, oh, there's no way we can trust it. There's no way.
Lewis, shut up.
Okay, there you go.
Right.
Oh, and Anthony, you're a flaming faggot too.
Right, so the point is that the Peak Finder and my angles agree to 0.1 of a degree, and that may be accounted for by the fact they're taking a view from St. Bees, and there's an issue with the photograph position of Anthony having moved about, I think it's about 100 meters or so, or 200 meters to change angle by that. So those two factors may account for the difference between the Peak Finder angle and mine of just 0.1 of a degree. Otherwise, it completely agrees. And as you go over here, now, unfortunately, because Ranty's got his C coming up here, you can see that the Peak Finder and the composite disagree slightly, but just simply because the C starts sloping up. And you can see if you go over here, the image here again on a Peak Finder actually gives us, this is the same thing that Paul found here. And if you then go to the angle where, so that, given that this now agrees with me, and we know that the bearing.
Where's the island? Where is it on Peak Finder? There's nothing there.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I put that in a slightly lower. Right. But it
Hold on,
comes
are we
down
now
to-
going to just do exactly what Paul's done? Are you
hold
having me
here
on?
We go. Here's the piece. Someone playing music.
So are you literally going to do exactly the same as Paul?
No, here we go. Here's the peak finder bump here, but because Ranty's not got the sea level, it appears here and not there. But you can see it's there.
No, that's completely wrong.
What the hell are you on about?
Can you not see?
Wrong.
Look, Jesus Christ! I drew a line here. Can you not see?
You're totally retarded, Nathan.
Horizontal line.
Right,
is
let me
not
address that
horizontal
comment.
because
The
of Ranty's
comment was
composition.
Rumpus.
Hold on, go ahead,
Rumpus.
Anthony.
Can you see
let me
this sea
respond to
line here?
Rumpus.
It
He
goes
said that
vertically,
Ranty's got the sea wrong
diagonally
and that
instead of
makes the land
horizontally.
move left. That is preposterous. Ranty hasn't got the sea wrong. It's a lensing effect. It's obvious it's something to do with the camera. And secondly, it can't make the land move left.
You really think the sea goes diagonally, do you?
Look,
It's completely a lensing effect taken by the camera. It's nothing
Paul
to do
asked
with
a very
Ranty.
important question just a moment
And
ago.
even if it
Both,
was
all
Rumpus, it
three,
wouldn't make the
Ranty,
land move
Riley,
left.
and Nathan are all retarded. Okay, it really is that
Wouldn't
simple.
make the land move left. Rumpus.
And so, right, hold on. Just look. My final point is that because the angles and my angles and peak viewer angles agree to within 0.1 degree, we know for a fact that the lighthouse is just
No,
over
Rumpus,
here.
you
Which
got
you can
that
see my
wrong.
pointer would appear just there. And peak finder agrees with this bump here being part of the Isle of Man. It agrees with all my angles. It agrees.
No, it doesn't.
With
No, it
everything
doesn't.
except for the
It's
angle.
not lined up on Peak Finder, Rumpus.
It is lined up on peak finder. That's what you can see here.
It isn't.
The image. I've overlaid the peak finder image.
We've just seen
over
that it
this
isn't.
photograph,
We've just
and
seen that
lines
it
up.
isn't. So is the audience. Why are you doing it? I don't get it.
He's blaming
So what
Ranty for it, but it doesn't line up. It's got
Doesn't
nothing to
line
do
up,
with Ranty.
does it, Rumpus?
It does. It lines up perfectly to the left.
On
of-
the left! Thank you.
Yes. And to the point where Ranty
Finally,
got
so we're at the
C
same
doing a
bloody
5
stage
degrees
we were
up.
at with
It doesn't
Paul,
line
with
vertically.
Rumpus. Unbelievable. I said I didn't want to present this crap twice, and we have. Same exact
You
crap.
can see floating
Give me 1 minute
on
and I'll
the
debunk this.
So is the town you call Douglas really Douglas, or is it Balkan?
Yeah, I think everybody's got something to bring to this conversation,
All right, Paul,
Paul,
you've
and I
said
think
enough
you should bring
today,
is
mate.
silence.
I can't believe that you're saying we've got Ranty's angled C here, and you're saying, oh, therefore peak.
No, it isn't Ranty's angled.
Sorry,
Paul. Stop being
sorry,
dishonest.
Rumpus. They don't
It's
care
obviously an optical
about
effect
the
by the
angleness.
camera.
But if you look at Rumpus's projection here on his screen, you can tell that the pictures are being angled up because the bottoms of them don't line up. Like you could tell. Like there's a really simple way to tell that the pictures aren't lined up. So Ranty, I mean, this is the hardest thing you ever did on a computer, and you didn't even fucking do it right. Have a nice day, faggots.
Nathan's being dishonest again. Rumpus.
No, I think Louis, I think we could do without the abuse there.
Right.
Anyway, the
Rumpus.
point is, you can clearly see that Ranty's. I mean, he's done a good job for half the thing, but he's done not such a good job for the right-hand side. But that's why there's a difference.
Rumpus. No, Rumpus. That is not down to Ranty, and it doesn't make the land move left. It doesn't line up.
Doesn't make
Clearly,
the balloon
he hasn't even
correct.
got an
Doesn't make
idea
the
what
land
he's
move.
looking at.
Absolutely.
Has he looked? Has he cared to look at Google Earth? Has he actually looked at the terrain?
Yeah, this matches the peak finder here.
No, it
matches
doesn't,
Google Earth.
Rumpus. That's the point.
Well, of course, Google Earth has the problem that you can't zoom in. You have to go close to it, which means, of course, you
Can you let me?
you
Can you share my screen, please, Nathan?
compromise.
Yeah,
Nathan.
give Ranty a chance to explain because them two.
Okay, go ahead.
Give me a second. I'll just share with everybody. Bear with me.
I think it's fair that Ranty gets a right to respond to his bendy C stuff,
absolutely. Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
clearly something to do with the camera.
Okay, can you let me know when we're sharing, Nathan?
Yeah, just give me a minute.
You can just tell these guys don't do any research of their own. They're so stupid.
Ranty, you've
No
demonstrated
need for
your
the ad
idiocy.
hom
The fact you've
style,
done
Ranty. Come on.
on many
Rein it in.
occasions. You've demonstrated your idiocy
Right,
over
I've just
and over
listened.
again.
I've just listened to a
Before
guy
you'd even
slagging me off
started,
for
you've triggered them
45
all,
minutes
Ranty.
when he didn't even look at Google Earth.
I didn't.
Just waiting for Skype to load, and then I'll transition across so the audience can see it. But from my end, it's just loading. And
Ranty, you've demonstrated your incompetence and ineptitude repeatedly.
Can you
So
stop?
I think we might have to restart the
Hold
call,
on,
mate.
Can we just get through this? Right.
Yeah.
So, Ranty, can you just stop screen sharing and start again, please?
if you have to see sloping at 5 or 10 degrees, you know you've done something wrong.
Yes, we are. Bear with me. I'll just transition to the audience, and then I'll let you know. Okay. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so I'm sharing screens now, am I?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so do you see this this line here. That's obviously this is a direct line to the island. Can you see the right-hand side of the island? Can you see where the terrain and the sea actually looks like it's rising up?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's simply because this is further. Can you see how it ravines and goes around? Can you see this area? Can you see that?
Yes, but that's got nothing to do with the fact you've got to write an angle.
It's an illusion.
Yes, if you look at a coastline, of course that can go up and down, but we're looking at sea. Let's sea going up at an angle. Where's the sea?
So is that sea going up? Does it look like the sea is going because it's further away? Can you see?
Yes. You're understanding perspective. Well done. Yes, but the point is, in your image, you have pure sea, and
anyway,
that is going up at an angle.
That's just shit all over your argument, hasn't it?
No, it hasn't. You don't understand.
No swearing.
Well, you've got pure
so
sea.
anyway, you're going to do a composite of your own, are you? I'm looking forward to seeing your composite. Please have it done for tomorrow.
Do you understand that C is
no.
You
Where
did
say you'd have a composite that would be better than mine. I'm waiting to see
you understand that where you have lands coming
Can you see how this looks
way,
higher?
it's obviously not going to be horizontal. When you look at an image of sort of coastline, it's not going to be horizontal. Absolutely correct. You've got that, so you understand that. But when you're looking at C, that is going to be horizontal if you've aligned the camera horizontally. And you've got pure C right
if it isn't there's no curve on the sea. Is that? Have you just admitted there's no curve on the sea? Is that what you just said?
At the resolution you're dealing with in your magnifying,
no, I believe you just said
you
there's no
cannot
curve
see
on the
curve across the line of sight.
I think you just said there's no curve on the sea.
Do you understand? Do you understand that you can see the curve of the Earth when you're looking along the line of sight, but across the line of sight, you've only got a field of view. Even if you, with your own eyes, with your field of view about 90 degrees or so, you're only going to get a 6 feet difference. At 6 feet difference.
We know Randy doesn't understand that. He did a video where he claimed that the drop should be 80 feet left to right, and it really only should have been 1 pixel width on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. They don't understand this going across, the difference between going across the line of sight and going along the line of sight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're looking, particularly when you're magnifying to this level, where your field of view in your camera is only a few tenths of a degree.
Rumpus, not being polite to these people would go a long way.
Yeah, so when you have an angle with highly magnified, the sea has got even less curvature when you're looking closely is
this the Isle of Man here?
We can't see what you're doing. Yes, correct.
Oh, you can't see my screen.
Yes, we can see it. Yeah, we can see it now.
All right, is this the Isle of Man?
Correct, and I can even tell you the bearing of it if you like.
Okay.
That particular bit on mine has a bearing of 252, and as agreed with Peak Finder and I both say that is at 252.1.
Bronte, I don't know if you saw the start of this hangout, but Paul tried to show how the right-hand side of the image, which is where you're coming up to now, he tried to show that basically he tried to hide that it didn't line up on Peak Finder. Nathan tried to bring him back onto it.
You're lying, Anthony. I did not try and hide it at all.
Yeah, you did. I watched it.
You did try hiding it.
You're being
Nathan asked you to go right.
I did not try and hide anything, Anthony.
Yeah, you did.
Paul,
that's why you had to move the image.
As you always do, Paul.
That's why you moved
Paul,
the image.
Your voice changes destroyed your voice. Turn off your voice changer.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I don't understand why people are having such difficulty. Paul had to move two things. He moved one thing and then the other thing. And in between moving
means they don't line up. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Rumpus, they're retarded. Stop coddling them.
They're retarded.
You've got to explain it in very clear terms, then we can't go wrong.
So just being trolled by somebody who can't stop swearing. So you're welcome back next time, Lube. All you're doing is disrupting because I just have to keep trying to boot you out because just don't swear and then you can come and do what you like. But you've already sworn, I've already booted you. Now you just keep rejoining with socks. And eventually you'll just be like Grim V, kicked out every time you come in and you'll never get to speak here.
Oh, Nathan, fuck your rules. Fuck you, fuck your rules.
God, Louis is getting...
Lewis, he can't help himself.
Calm down, Louis. I think Nathan's doing a very fine job of presenting himself as we would wish him to be presented himself.
As an idiot.
We don't need to do much more.
Biased, rude.
No. Nathan's pointing out that you're not getting things lined up.
You're an idiot. He sucks at presenting everything.
Exactly. And that's made clear.
Yeah,
it's obvious.
Rumpus has said it about 3 or 4 times. Thank God for Rumpus being here. Thank God for Rumpus and his intellectual honesty. He's admitted it several times. They don't line up. And then he's gone on to disclaim the changes that have to be made. So it's clear what's happening.
No, Nathan, let me quickly explain what happened. He adjusted it, which that made it.
That's all you need, Rup. That's all you need, Lottie. He adjusted it. Correct.
Yeah.
End of sentence. Thank you for giving that clarity for the 4th time to the audience, Lottie.
Rumpus.
Finally, you have caught up.
Yeah, Nathan, that is all you need because they weren't aligned in the first place, so you need to adjust them.
Rumpus, can I ask you to conclude the point on the tuft of trees? Because we haven't got a conclusion on that yet, and I don't think we should move from it until
I
you
was
do.
just doing a screen grab of that, actually. I mean, it's, in the grand scheme of things, as
profile of the mountain matches, it's not Douglas.
Yeah.
Anthony, I don't think we should move off the fact that you're a fucking lying cunt.
Terrible.
Anthony. Sorry, Charles Manson, there's no murdering on this show. So you're welcome to come back next show, though. Thank you.
The thing is, Paul, whether you agree or disagree, if that tuft of trees is in fact Douglas Head, the way I assert it is, and it does match, then unless you can come up with a suitable
I murder who I like when I like.
We can live there.
It's not Douglas.
Yeah, but I'm asking you to prove what it is. And at the minute, the suggestion on the table is blocked by rock.
It was Balacanel.
Yeah.
Balacanel is sat in a ravine, Paul. You can't see it.
Peak Finder agrees with us. Yeah, but you calling it a tuft of trees? I mean, so far I think it's a hill, which seems to there seems to be a hill in the right place with trees on it. So it could be, as far as I'm concerned,
Well,
I'm
the
not
guy from
going
Douglas
to say exactly
agrees
what it
that
is, but
it's
definitely
Douglas Head.
something.
So, and I assert that Balacanel is sat in a ravine and cannot be seen by the rocks in front of it.
There's the three buildings on the hill. There's the three buildings on the hill.
I can even identify the house.
Carry on, Ranty, we can hear you.
I can identify that house.
Carry on, Ranty, we can hear you above them.
Okay.
See that?
Well, there's the three buildings on the hill.
See that?
Yeah.
They're just in. They're actually just above Douglas.
No,
There's
Ranty,
the actual Douglas head on the
don't ever
trees.
assume you can carry on.
Go back to the trees and show the trees.
The trees are on the Douglas head here, which is this part here.
Trees are irrelevant.
No.
Well, the thing is, Paul,
it's not irrelevant.
there's three buildings.
What it is, you also have a village here.
Few trees. What an idiot.
You have a village here and a village here, and you also have a line of sight to part of Douglas, which is here, these buildings here, and they all line up perfectly with the image here. Again, going back to this contrast 6, there's the two villages, one village, two village, and the top part of that is actually inside Douglas on the town.
I agree with that. I agree.
There's Douglas Head, and there's the three buildings at the pole.
That white blob in the middle, I can even tell you exactly. I can give you a Google Earth reference of where that house is and Street View as well.
Yeah, but Rumpus, you can't identify that clump of trees. Rumpus,
I can give you the exact coordinates of that house.
Rumpus, listen to me. Relative to the houses that you claim that you can identify, you can't identify a relevant clump of trees. That's the problem.
Well,
the tuft of trees is irrelevant when the rest of the profile of the entire island.
Paul, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Rumpus.
Right. The problem I have.
I don't care whether you're talking to me or not. The tuft
you need
of
a
trees
set of trees, Rumpus, that are next to and relative in proximity to the buildings that you claim they are. So even if you can identify a particular building, I'll give you that. But what I want you to show me is the proximity of a set of trees that I can do and you don't appear to be able to do.
Right. First of all, there's not enough resolution in the photograph to determine what exactly that is. It's just a dark area that peaks. And I have found something in line with it that does so. So whether they are the trees or not, I can't be sure. So,
well, you had a guy that lives there that actually says that this is Douglas Head. The guy came on from the Isle of Man and he said, I live in this place and I know that for a fact to be Douglas Head.
Yeah. He's absolutely 100% wrong. Peak Finder and I agree.
Hang on, wait a minute. He lives there.
Exactly where it is. And I've identified that house that you're looking at, and I can give you the
Where do you live, Rumpus?
Sorry?
Whereabouts do you live? Do you live in the Isle of Man?
No, I don't. But I've been analysing pictures, and I don't need to live anywhere in particular.
You know, Ranty, that anecdotal evidence isn't worth.
Yeah, but hang on, Rumpus. My point still stands, Rumpus. If you're saying that the buildings are somewhere else other than Douglas, I want you to show a close proximal relationship to the clump of trees. You can't do that at the moment, so can you stay on topic and show me a clump of trees relative?
Would you like the coordinates of that house?
The island profile matches perfectly.
Right, exactly. What I'm going to do, Ranty, I'm going to knock you off
Did you hear
screen
that?
share.
Did you hear that? Total dishonesty from Paul. He just said it matches perfectly. That's what he just said.
No, it doesn't match. There is no trees there for him to cross-reference.
Why are you literally lying?
Well, he's right.
No response. Silence from the troll that is Paul Voigt.
It matches.
I can't see them.
Right, I've flicked over onto my screen. Hopefully Nathan can see my screen now. Yeah, he can. Great. So because Rumpus isn't acknowledging this issue, I'm going to do it for him, and then he can show me why I've got it wrong. So the point that I'm making is that there's a set of trees, a clump of trees in the footage. Just wait while this motorbike goes past.
But well, I can find some trees on that line, on that bearing.
Just hang on a sec. Let Nathan put it back on the screen. Right, okay. So now we're seeing it on screen. We have this town that we believe is Douglas, but they say it's not. But relative to the town, and that's the point, relative to the town, we see a clump of trees on the horizon, and we see the 3 dots that are on the left. Now, Ranty has correctly, in my opinion, identified what they are. But what Paul's assertion and what Rumpus's assertion is that this somehow matches. Now, bear in mind that the town that they claim...
You keep on bringing up this picture.
Wait,
this isn't
wait, Rumpus, wait. Let me make my point, and then you can respond. Their Balacanel town is here, but with regards to Balacanel, there is no set of trees on the horizon, and there is no 3 dots. However, in contrast...
across the lines then.
Wait, Rumpus. In contrast,
the lines there
we're
represent
saying
the
that
lines
this
you
is
should be
Douglas.
looking along, and you're looking
There's
across
the clump
them.
of trees, and there's the 3 things that are on the horizon, which would be there's the town, there's the clump of trees, and there's the 3 things on the horizon. So if the Balacanel claim is correct, let's say for argument's sake that that's Balacanel, where are the trees that relate to it, and where is the 3 buildings that relate to it? Because you've got to have those 3 focal points, otherwise you're not getting the right town.
I disagree slightly.
It's okay, but the point is these 2 things have got to be relative to the town that they're claiming it is.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I disagree that that's actually Douglas that you're looking at. Those houses there. I believe that you are seeing the very top houses are part of the Douglas town, but you also have that town in front of it, which is not Balacanel. It's the village that are next to that.
There is a little bit of the houses that are here.
Yeah, you can't see inside the actual.
You're being totally dishonest.
Port. You can't actually see inside the port.
You can't see inside the port. That's not what I'm saying. Let me just be clear, so that for the sake, I mean, I'm not saying we can see in the port. I'm saying that we're seeing that triangle there.
No, you're not.
We're seeing that clump, and we're seeing them 3. And we're seeing a little bit of the higher houses that are here, and they're overlapping slightly. But relative to the landscape we're seeing, it's that clump of trees that need to be shown by Rumpus, and those 3 on the corner. That's what we have, Rumpus. Can you manufacture that in your observation claim around Balacanel? Because the majority of Balacanel is hidden by these rocks.
Oh yes, we can't see them. Yes, we can't see all of Balacanel. I mean, if you look at my, I don't know if you can see my this large house here, which I can give the coordinates of again. As I say, you're calling that the clump of trees. That is actually the mount to the. I'm not quite sure what that's called, the mount by Peak Finder. I'm not quite sure where that is on Google Earth. But
so where's the clump of trees equivalent then?
And I can give you the yes. Then the picture you've got.
Can you repeat your question, Anthony?
Let's say that you've got the 3 dots on the left-hand side. Let's say that you've got that. Where's the clump of trees equivalent on your identification of Balacanel?
You're talking about these dots here.
No, where you've got the mount, where it says the mount, that's the 3 dots he's referring to. See the 3 dots under your giant arrow?
I can't see any 3 dots there.
You have to have to zoom
Rumpus, you've just identified 3 things that were the mount. Okay, is that right?
Well, it's just one lump. It's called that lump is called the mount.
Is that what you're saying is the clump of trees?
What you're calling the clump of trees is to the right of the mount, and there are 3 houses here, and I can identify this house here.
Okay, so if you're identifying that as the mount, where's the clump of trees relative to the town? Because the only place the clump of trees appears is to the top right of the town, not to the top left.
I'm not quite sure what this mount is part of.
No, it doesn't. It appears to the
That's
top
the point.
There's a big clump
it isn't
of trees
lining up,
to the
Rumpus.
top left. There's a big clump of trees to the top left of Douglas. I mean, of Balacanel.
No, there's not. There's a clump of trees to the top right of Balacanel, not to the top left.
Yep. There's one to the left.
Nope. No, there isn't, Paul.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. I'm looking at
it
right now.
No, there isn't, Paul. There is no trees to the top left of Balacanel.
Can you show us that?
You're lying.
There we go.
I can.
So we've got Anthony's screen up. Guys, in the Hangout, are you seeing the Skype screen that Anthony Riley's sharing?
what Rumpus is saying is this is the mount. Okay, let's give him that the mount's there. I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but let's just accept for the sake of discussion that this is the mount. The clump of trees relative to Bala needs to be here. But as you can see, the only trees are to the top right of Bala, and they need to be here. And as you can see, there are no trees here. There is only buildings. So that would appear as more white, and it would look like this. So that is clearly not the right location. There has to be the three proximal things in relation to each other. That thing that Einstein argues, relativity, they've got to be relative to each other, and we're not seeing it on that observation.
I don't understand the view you're getting.
Why have you got your elevation profile exaggerated, Anthony?
Because otherwise you can't see them. Look, it makes it weird. I'm trying to do that to help you, not help me. If I put that back down to the height it should be, you've got no chance of seeing these buildings because these towns because they're too flat. Well, look, I'm helping you here.
Wouldn't changing the elevation profile being dishonest?
No, he's saying that if you lower it...
Oh. So where's the height?
So that's why it looks so weird. And the lines are then going through it. Oh, God.
Where's the tuft of trees? Where's the hump? It's flat. I was giving you the elevation profile to give you the exaggeration land.
Now we can see why it's so weird.
No. Yeah. What I'm saying is, it's behind ravine, and there's no clump of relative trees. And even if you've got that point, where's the...
Okay, now I think I understand your point. And you think, because when you're on the Google Earth where you are there...
We just had somebody in chat called Rosanna that's come in and said that the trees that we're all talking about are indeed Douglas Head. That's somebody else that lives in the Isle of Man, and she's going to go down and take an image of it.
Right, we need to add that person to the call. Let me add that person.
She wants to come on. She said she'll come on tomorrow.
Seriously?
Yeah, Rosanna... Rosanna... Manuja.
Paul's having a little giggle at an eyewitness that can prove him wrong.
No line of sight to those trees because you're using Google Earth and you're trying to get a decent size. The only way in Google Earth to do that is to get close, and of course, therefore, the perspective of having that image, those semi-cliff faces near to you, means you can't see the things behind. But when you're further away and zoom in, as Peak Finder does, you don't have that problem. You're getting confused between making something the right size and having to do it with
you're
Google
misidentifying
Earth.
key landscape issues that need to be there.
You don't do that in Google Earth. You don't zoom in with a camera in Google Earth. You actually move.
You need to have. You need to have something that matches the evidence, and you don't have it. Let's pull the image back up. That is not matching what we see because the land that's there, the town or whatever, these buildings here, is not being proportionately represented by a set of trees relative, and there is no things over here. And even that's even if we give you the lump of land that you say is there.
I found a peak just at that spot where what you're calling the tuft of trees. I found a peak at that heading that I gave you earlier from your first video position, and I did find some trees there. And your basic argument is that if you were to draw a line and you look at it, if you move the Google Earth point of view to very close to the island, you can't see the trees. That's of course right, because Google Earth
So I've got the clump of trees that Rumpus is referring to, and for the benefit of everybody in the audience watching, let's see whether we can see it when we're down at the level that we're at, or is it blocked by the cliffs? And my position is it's blocked by the cliffs and it doesn't match. So let's move that out of the way.
Well, I've got a clump of trees that's not.
Right. So can we see the clump of trees in the background, right? And the answer is no. So let's zoom out until we need to. And now we can see... Oh, hang on, that's a bit too far.
Yeah, but
let me just get that right.
Again, Andrew, I've got to make this point. When you zoom, you don't zoom in Google Earth, you move. And that means you get a very different view. And things when you get close to it, obviously obscure you. Like when you approach a wall.
Right, so at this point, Rumpus, we can't see the trees. Now we can see the trees, but I've got to be at 2,293 feet.
Right, but I've explained.
So that means it can't be them trees.
When you zoom in with a telescope or your camera, that's a very different thing to do to moving towards it. So when you move towards it, say there's a small wall in the distance. Let's imagine there's a park or something a long way away from you, and you move towards that wall. The wall obviously then takes up a much bigger of your field of view, and you can't see around it. A long way away from that wall, it doesn't have an impact on you. When you go in Google Earth and you move towards
the conclusion point, Rumpus, is you're not able to find a set of trees that lines up with that head that you say it is, or the town that you say it is. However, when I show the evidence,
wait a second, we've got a new guest. Can I just check if this new guest is real?
It lines up with the town. And
guys, sorry, can I just check if this new guest is real? How you doing, new guest? Earth something?
Yeah, Nathan, you gotta take control of your hangouts, dude. But go ahead, guys.
Good to have you, Tim.
That was really useful, that, Tim.
Continuous sniping in the back chat.
I can't do anything about that. Nothing I can do about that.
If you share my screen, I'll show you the tuft of trees that you can see.
Yeah, there is something you can do about it. You go to hangouts.google.com,
Yeah, you want to get me in that back
and then
chat,
you
Tim,
watch
don't
for
you?
people
You
who
want me in
snipe
that back
people.
chat. I don't want to
give
be
me
there
that.
with all you snipers. I'm up here on my hill.
Let him live this.
Freaking idiot.
Yeah, just let him have his little snipers and.
Tim complaining about snipers.
Yeah, isn't it funny that Tim complains about snipers?
Right.
Why are you using epistemology?
There is a tuft of trees to the left that you can see.
There isn't a tuft of trees to the left.
Epistemology for
Paul,
atheist
that's the
troll
problem.
crowd.
There is no tuft of trees.
Earth
There needs to be a
Discussions
tuft of trees
2.0.
there, Paul, because otherwise there isn't no. You're in the wrong place, Paul.
Is my screen being shared or not?
Not at the moment.
No, because I can identify the tuft of trees. It's not that hard.
You can't identify anything, Paul, because nothing lines up when you do it. So
Did
I'm
you
gonna
get
put the
my
elevation back up to
bearing
3?
correct?
I'm going to put the elevation back up to 3 just so that the people in the audience can see it. This is the line of sight. There's the triangle of things. There's the tuft of trees. And the 3 markers that we see on the left-hand side are a combination of this building, and I think there's... Let me zoom back out a bit more. Where was the third? Oh, there's the third one on the corner. They're the 3 things. It's exaggerated because of the
Anthony,
elevation
the
profile, but
Pathfinder and
nonetheless,
our
they line
images
up.
all agree
So,
on what and
the problem is,
photograph all
Rumpus,
match.
there's a clump of trees that's relative to all 3 points that needs to be there. That's not there on your observation claim.
It is there.
It isn't, Rumpus.
Right.
There is no set of trees there. The land shape
Hold on, I
doesn't
think
match,
Paul's
and you
about to come
can't
up with
even
a
see most
punchline
of this
here
town
with
because of
regards
the.
to this. Paul's got some
tuft of trees there.
Well, there isn't a clump of trees there, Paul.
God's sake. Right? Am I being shared or not?
You are being shared. Yes, we can see you, Paul.
Right, thank you. This red line here is the line that comes from where he's viewing past the cliffs. This town here, this area of town here. What? How about?
Yeah,
why don't you turn up my volume, Nathan?
Excuse me, I haven't done anything to your volume.
I
I've just got a shagged mic connection. That's nothing to do
I
with
don't
me.
think it's not a mic connection. He's been using his voice changer, and it's messed up his normal voice.
Why is he
That's the
blaming
problem,
me?
Paul.
I haven't adjusted his volume.
I haven't been using anything.
Yes, you have, Paul.
No, it's just got a bad
Dalek.
connection. It's just got a bad connection. That's it. It's just got to drop and rejoin, and it would solve it. But
His
it's
voice
nothing to do with me. Don't blame
voice
me.
changer's knackered him up.
Yeah, Paul, your voice is distorted as well, so I think there's something
Not a
going
bad
on
connection.
here.
I have a good connection.
I don't think it's
Yeah,
Nathan.
he might have a good connection, but he's been using a voice changer, and it's messed up his normal sound.
Yeah, well, he says he hasn't, Anthony. So
I'm not using a
course he
voice
has.
changer, Anthony.
Right,
Yes,
but
you
what
have,
to do with
Paul.
You are using a voice changer. It's
You can
changing your
tell that
voice
your
right now.
reflection is in the voice changer, Paul. You can't
Paul,
hide
for
that.
whatever
as an
reason,
accent.
Hey, Paul,
sounding
it
garbage.
sounds like your
voice
RAM. It sounds like your RAM is overloaded with something. If you can close a couple windows, possibly.
Yeah, it sounds
Sounds like
something's
you're
not
right.
quite right.
No, he's
Come
using
on,
his
Tim.
voice changer that he tried to.
Sound like an
use last
MSN
time.
helper.
We all know that Australian
I'm not using a voice changer anyway.
accent.
Look, let Paul get to his point. We can hear him roughly. If you can all shut up, we can actually hear him just about.
Yeah.
So can you get to his point and just don't troll him because he's difficult to hear.
The bit that I'm circling here, is Laxey. Laxey is behind the ridge. There's a ridge that runs along here that Laxey is hidden behind. You cannot see Laxey. This part of
So
it
therefore,
is
it's an irrelevant
Ballachanal,
point, Paul.
right? Can you just let me go? This part is Ballachanal, and this is the part of Ballachanal you can see. Okay. Now, if I go up, all right, there's a clump of trees here to the left, up on the hill that you can see. That's the clump of trees that you're seeing. That clump of trees.
Yeah, but Paul,
right.
they sit on the horizon. Are they sat on the horizon, or are they not sat on the horizon?
Yeah, it's those trees are up on a hill.
Show them sat on the
All right,
horizon of the
that is
hill.
the clump of trees.
Show them
Right.
sat on the horizon and match
So that's
the
the clump of
evidence,
trees.
Paul.
Here we go. We've got 5 minutes left. Let's see if we stay on bird's eye view for 5 minutes.
Yeah, there,
Oh, yeah,
there
you
may
might
be a
be-
clump of
yeah, that
trees
might
there,
be
Paul, but are they
sufficiently
sat on the
close to my
horizon from the point of view? Or do you have to manipulate it and be above?
No, there's nothing, no manipulation here. I haven't changed anything. How can I
We're looking
manipulate
at a
this?
bird's eye
How can I
view.
manipulate
This is
this?
not
So
the
go back down,
line of
Paul.
sight, Paul. Definitely
There's
not the
Ballachanal.
line of
There's
sight.
the clump of
Okay,
trees.
not the line of sight.
Go down, Paul.
Down, down.
me to
Add a
show
bit
you
of
Just gonna chew out
refraction,
5
Paul.
minutes.
Down.
Just chewing out the time.
Yep.
Add a bit of refraction, Paul. Go down.
There's the line of sight from St. Bees. I've also put in.
Doesn't have enough time to get down, show it's not there, and then do the maths around it. So he's just going to chew the time out, I think.
On my video when I produce it. All right. So you do have line of sight to part of Balacanal.
Going down, Paul.
Part of Balacanal.
Still on bird's eye view. Still on bird's eye view. There's Douglas.
And that's the.
Where's the trees, Paul? Show us the trees.
All right. They're the trees there.
Yeah, but where are they in relation to the line of sight? Be on the line of sight, the way we see it on the evidence, and show us it's sat on the horizon, please.
Oh, well, you'd have to go all the way back to you'd have to go all the way back to St. Bees to get line of sight, wouldn't you? Because that's where you're viewing from.
Yeah, but Paul, we can repeat what you're
Not
showing, and it doesn't do what you say it's doing. You're misrepresenting it, and you're making people think that you're being honest, but you're not, Paul. I'm calling you on it because you can only see those trees from the bird's eye view. You cannot see them trees from the position that the camera was taken, be it from St. Bees or from the zoomed in point so we can see it. So I'm calling you a liar, Paul, because you're misrepresenting the trees.
No, I'm not a liar.
You're a liar, Paul.
Other tree ground that they could be. I don't see any
You're
other
lying, Paul. That's not the trees. You can't. They cannot be
We've got a
seen.
couple of minutes before you keep saying the same things. We've got a new guest.
In 3D. Don't be silly.
How you doing, Debate Flat Earth and more? Can you hear us? Got a new guest? Hello?
Yeah, actually, why aren't we addressing why
Jen,
Riley lied to bring us this evidence? Why he's lied throughout about his elevation?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go with that, then. Let's go with that. We're not making any progress so far.
I think we should spend some. What have you got to say, Anthony, about the fact that you lied throughout? That you said you were at 35 feet and you weren't?
Yeah, I've got some proof of this.
Yeah. There were two videos taken. One was at 35 feet, and I've accepted that the other one, I can't be exact where it was, but it's at the highest at 52 feet. So I don't really care where you put it. You can put it at 51 feet, but it wasn't.
Listen to him stuff his mouth with hot dogs.
Your own evidence. You showed a video that you said was taken from the top of the hill, and we can match blades of grass in it to a video that you say.
No, Jeremy, I said it wasn't because that video is not public. That video is still private.
You've lied by 90 feet, Anthony. You've lied and you've lied again, and you've lied for over 2 weeks about this.
No,
I've got a presentation.
I maintain my position, Jeremy. You just don't accept it.
I'm going to use my mod powers here.
Now.
No, Jeremy, again, for the sake of Jeremy, I'll tell you exactly what I've said before, and I'm standing by it. The first video was at 35 feet. The second video was a little bit higher.
He's a
little bit further back.
I
don't know exactly where it was, but I'm going to maintain my position. That specifically was not at the top of the hill.
So go ahead and stuff
no
your
lie.
face with
There's
my
just been
hot dogs.
dismissal and
I've got some
denial.
evidence here.
That's different to me lying. That's actually you guys not accepting the evidence because it shits all over your beliefs.
You
can have it any way you want, Jeremy, but I'm standing my ground. I took the pictures and videos where they were taken from, and I haven't changed my position. I didn't lie about height. I just gave the value that Google gives it, which is what everybody would do. That's not a lie, Jeremy. It's just reported it the way that we're told to.
Oakley ate it up the whole time too. Where's 1,000 foot of wall of water?
Can I show some evidence here? Right. If this is a screenshot from Anthony's second video with the rig there, and you can see the beach here. And here is a shot from the first video, and you can suddenly say, "Whoa, those are really quite different." And I can overlay them in a second so you can see the differences. But you can see immediately.
I'm fine with that.
Is a great.
That's not a lie.
Okay, well, I'm not saying anything at the moment. I'm just pointing evidence about how different they are.
If you go to my channel, I've uploaded a video yesterday where Anthony showed us footage from a third video, which he told us was shot from the top of the hill. And he was presenting as evidence, like you're presenting, to show differences between this third video shot from the top of the hill.
That's not true, Jeremy. I only showed that third video to show the difference between being at the top of the hill and not being at the top of the hill. Because the third video is not public, Jeremy. But the assertion was that I was on top of the hill, and that's simply
30 seconds left. 30 seconds.
And in the second video, which has been telling us throughout, it's shot from 35. Right.
No, Jeremy. Jeremy. I only showed the third video to prove that I wasn't at the top of the hill.
Can I demonstrate this?
Nothing
Can
else.
I demonstrate what's going on? I've got an overlay here.
Okay, and with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and for sharing this video. Be sure to, if you've not done so already, share, like, subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.